Okay, we're recording.
All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome into a deck tech stream. Me and Veggie today are going to be going over a bunch of decks, telling you guys some suggestions, and helping you improve those decks. And every one of those decks is going to be on moxfield.com, which supports this channel. Moxfield is the best deck building website, period. No one could ever convince me otherwise.
I can't function without Moxfield.
I have become reliant on it at this point, where it's just like, how do I build a deck if I don't have Moxfield? Like the tools and everything you can do on this website, unmatched by any other deck building website. We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
All right. So with decked out, teched out, these are decks that are all submitted by you, our wonderful community. Those are things that you can access with the little Ko-fi link that you see below, and as patrons of the Decked Out show. Okay, we should look at cards now.
Yes, so support the channel, and you too can be teched.
Okay, so the first deck of the day is a Tatiova Steward of Tides deck submitted by Jay Nightshade. This one specifically is a budget-friendly version of this deck. We're looking for some suggestions and upgrades, but keeping that concept in mind, that we would like to keep this relatively low budget.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, we need to keep this on budget. I was just thinking, I'm looking at, you have your notes open, but I also had notes. Maybe I will pull them up on my phone over here so that we have access. So we both have access to both these notes. I had shorts going. That was a Simpsons short. I'm trying to get rid of those shorts, and I know I can't rant too long because we will go forever. But shorts that are just reposting TV shows, I'm trying to just down and get rid of. But the Simpsons will not go away. It refuses to.
Okay, so yeah, so if we look down here, thanks Moxfield for having all of the information we would need. This deck is about $60. So that's pretty budget. That is pretty budget. Tatiova, the commander herself, 3 mana, 3/3, land creatures you control have flying, and whenever a land enters under your control, if you have 7 or more, you make one of your lands into a 3/3 elemental with haste, permanently.
Something I want to point out about this budget is that is a $60 card kingdom price. That is more of a $30 on other sites deck. So this is a very budget deck. Like 60 seems like, oh, you're heading toward 100, but no, this is like super budget, compact. Most cards are going to be under 50 cents in this deck, if not 20 cents. This is a very, very budget deck.
Yeah. All right. So if we look at what's going on here, we are going to see a lot of ramp. Invasion of Zendikar finds 2 lands. I'm just going to skip creatures for now just to go over some more of these options. Emergent Sequence is very convenient. It already makes your land into a creature. Great. Roamer's Routine is really a double ramp because you then are able to use the creature that you've made with Tatiova to harmonize it.
Oh, see, I like that. My mind did not go there. I had this on my cuts because it's just like, but that, I love that. That's a nice little synergy. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So don't cut this. Joe Cherries was originally wrong because he did not think about that synergy.
Yeah. There's a bunch of versions of these. I particularly like.
Bye, everyone.
This version of these.
Yeah. I'm going to go buy stuff for the streaming PC for the studio, and then I'll bring you guys some balls.
Balls!
Yeah. It's funny because they probably just could only hear
I was speaking very loudly.
You were hitting bottom of the yellow.
Yeah.
As I am hitting red with my normal voice.
Okay, yes. There are a lot of versions of these cards that search for stuff, like the Explosive Vegetation cards.
Yeah.
As the first version of Search for 2 basics. I like the Vastwood Surge here since it synergizes with deck by having the kicker to put counters on all of your creatures. Excellent. I Map the Frontier. Do we actually have deserts that we care about in this deck? Archway sure gives you one of your lands back to replay.
How much is Scavenger Grounds?
How much is Scavenger
Is
Grounds?
that a desert?
Keep going, I'm looking for my phone.
Okay. Scavenger Grounds is a desert.
Put it in. Let's see the price.
Oh,
This is in our deck list.
yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, this is
Dude.
Scavenger Grounds. I
Yeah.
am the go-getter duder,
Mm-hmm.
which is we can't share cards this way.
Yeah, so this is sorry everybody, this was our bad planning. Normally we'll put these over into our own account so that we can use all of Moxfield's functionalities, and I think some of the other deck lists will be.
Okay, so this is like a 40-50 cent card.
Okay.
Scavenger Grounds. Perfect to add to this deck. It is I think you can add a little, because then if you have that desert church, you might as well put a little desert synergy. If you have 2 deserts to get, such as Scavenger Grounds is the one you have, Scavenger Grounds is great graveyard hate for a land deck if you have ways to search it up. So
Yeah.
If you don't know, because it's not on screen, you pay to sacrifice a desert, exile all graveyards. So perfect little synergy to add to the deck. Duplicate, yeah, there you go.
All right. Yeah, I was just like, actually, this is really easy to do. I don't know why we wouldn't do this. Because Moxfield, excellent. We just duplicate it into ours. Now we can give you your Scavenger Grounds.
Yeah, Scavenger Grounds is perfect for this deck, and it is only 50 cents.
Okay. Yeah, Scavenger Grounds. Exile all graveyards. I don't think anything in this deck cares about the graveyard except for a few things. Then you just wouldn't play your Scavenger Grounds.
Is Conduit Pylon a desert?
It is a desert. Nice. So you do have 2 specific targets for this.
Yeah, and now we have an extra one, which I think you want, if you have something that searches for 2 of something, have at least 3 of it in the deck.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna draw. Maybe I would actually probably add it to a 4th. Just find some 4th desert to add in here, even if it's just the
tap land,
the pinger.
Yeah.
Even if it's just that, just so that you have enough targets, so that if you have that awkward draw where you draw them, you still have things to find. Like,
it can find basics too.
Yeah, but the card is so much better when it doesn't, right?
Right. Any extra little utility that you can get. Okay, so that we know that there's going to be a lot of just like land ramp, and that's cool. We also care about being able to put extra lands from hand into play. So we have stuff like Gretchen Titulo, Zamone, even like super budget Beanstalk Worm that can has an adventure to put a land into play.
We have there's Summer Bloom in this deck. Too powerful for modern Stubborn Bloom.
Yes. Also, how budget is that? Like
it's very budget. It doesn't see any play anywhere.
That's Where am I? It's a sorcery. Wow, that's I guess it doesn't see any play anywhere. Cool.
To be fair, that is one of the more expensive cards in this deck at almost $2. But I actually thought it was more budget than that. But it's like, where's that seeing play? It's okay. It's like a very niche commander card where you need a deck that specifically wants to be drawing the extra cards and putting them onto the battlefield. So $2 overpriced for Summer Bloom. Hot take coming at you. Afternoon, Jay. How are you doing today?
Now, okay.
I will jump in just because I want to. There's one card I have to cut from this deck.
Yes.
Immediately.
Yeah.
When I saw it, and that is this card. Sylvan Advocate's Robad. This is not I get it has the synergy. It reads that more lands make card better is synergistic with the deck. This is not even close to commander playable. It is a 4/5 for 2. That is not a playable commander card. Almost at any power level other than like 1. I honestly think you should avoid this in 2s. That is how bad I feel this card is.
Interesting. So you don't think even a +2/+2 Anthem for 2 is worth it?
Well, it's not an Anthem.
Land creatures you control get +2/+2.
This card does that. Okay, so let me step back and say, I disagree with what I just said. Joe Cherries is an idiot. I have lived in a world of this being a standard card. And that line was relevant 0.1% of the time. I actually forgot it exists. This card's good. Never mind. I was wrong. I was 100% wrong about that. I misread this card and took it the wrong way. Reading the card does explain the card. But like I said, I lived in a world where this was a standard card. And that did not matter, nor did it come up. So this is just a 4/5 for 2, which is why it was playable in standard.
Right.
Yeah, play this card. The Anthem is worth it in this deck.
Yes. Okay, so we've gone like a lot of basic stuff. We obviously know this deck wants to put lands into play, however it's going to do it. It has some fancier ways to do it, like Jody can make Forest Dryad tokens. There's like a couple other funky things, but I want to point out some of the cuter things. Joel Rail is another card that cares about land creatures. Whenever they deal damage to a player, you draw a card. That's very powerful. And it even turns one of your lands into a creature at combat. So that's just playing exactly into the game plan that you want. Cool.
The fact that my husband, who is currently on crutches, is getting out of their seat to go to my room to type on my account to make jokes at my expense is quite telling of how silly I am sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know why you would disagree.
He's getting up he's on crutches and he has to get up and go to my room to make fun of me with my account. What is going on?
Don't worry about it, Christian. I can do that right here. We also get some fun tricks with lands being creatures. So, Croaking Counterpart, you can target a land that has become a creature and get another land creature with and it has flashback. I think that's very fun. And no, most of the time a card like this actually would result in just a land.
Yeah, but this is different.
This one is different specifically because it says, except it's a 1/1 green frog, the land now becomes a creature again. So this is a smart include because a lot of the other clones or copy effects would not give you a creature land.
Is that true?
Yeah, because
just the way I'm reading it is like, except it's you make a copy of a creature, okay. Copying the creature results in a land, except it's a 1/1 frog. Can it be a 1/1 frog without being a creature? Is my thought.
No.
Okay, that's fair. Frog is a creature type. Maybe because it's a creature type, that's what results in it. It's like if something, yeah. I mean, I just thought that was interesting. That is such an interesting interaction.
Yeah.
What I love about budget decks like this is we get to see some janky cards that you don't get to play in Commander a lot, like Joint Exploration. I love this card. You don't get to see it. It wasn't very good in draft either. So this card wasn't seen. It was playable. It wasn't super good in draft. Okay, how about that? No, go away. You want to draft Joint Exploration, you can do that. But I love this. I love this card. It's preordained, and then you get to put a land with you when you kick it.
Yeah, the card is actually good. Like the card is good. It's a good card. It just doesn't see a lot of play because it is like other options exist, and there are few decks that want many copies of this kind of thing.
So I think you're making a distinction that I often don't make. If a card, if a bunch of other cards are better and will be played in that card's place, I just say the card's bad. Explosive Vegetations, I say is bad. Because even though it does a thing and it does it well, there's 35 other cards that do it better. So the card's it ultimately is just bad. And that's how I usually talk about cards.
Yeah. I think this one is kind of in a slightly different space because the number of things that are better than this are not a ton, because this is both like this does a lot. It scries, it draws, and gives you a land drop at instant speed. So the number of things that can do all of that are not a lot. You like Planar Genesis and then
Eureka Moment down there.
Yes, Eureka Moment, and something that I feel is glaringly missing from this deck. Growth Spiral.
Yeah, I was also as soon as we started talking about that, I'm like, yeah, wait, no, Growth Spiral is not here. Yeah,
right? That can't be not budget, right? Yeah, okay, 50 cents. So, and I'm sure you can get a copy of this for significantly cheaper than
This
that
deck
because
also-
there are a billion printings of this card.
I mean, this deck also just wants to explore.
Yeah.
Pretty simply.
Yep.
Like it's the sorcery speed does the same exact thing. Yeah, you just an extra thing to have. You want to explore for this deck.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if this deck also wants
to double the budget and put in exploration. Yeah.
No. There's a 3-mana version of explore that also puts a counter on a creature.
Something expedition. It is, if you type in, it should come up with expedition.
Nope.
No, what is the I know exactly the card. It is
Scale the Heights.
Scale the Heights.
Thank you.
I love how what I will do. Also, first time chatter. First time chatter comes in and is like, I'll save these idiots. But yeah, Scale the Heights. Yes, I agree. I would also put that in.
Yeah, because it synergizes exactly. You get an additional land drop. You are putting counters on your flying land creatures.
And let me give a little bit of another first time chatter. Greetings, Broseph from Broseph Staland. Welcome in. Welcome into the chat. Something about Scale the Heights, super duper important.
Mm-hmm.
Legitimately, with the card, don't put a counter on a lot of times. If there is open mana with your opponents, don't do it. This card will not do anything. It is a single one. What it is up to, so you can choose 0. And if you see 3 players representing mana, just say, I will gladly just take my overpriced Explore, please, because if they remove your creature that is being targeted, this spell does nothing. So just accept that this is bad Explore sometimes instead of getting completely blown out. What are you laughing at?
I'm laughing at how many words it took you to explain
Sometimes,
that this card gets blown out by removal.
That's fair. Sometimes you can't get to something super simple in your head, and you go the most roundabout. You take the scenic route there.
Yes.
And especially when you're a talker like me or Veggie.
If you think that somebody has removal to spend, then choose not to put a counter, because the counter has a target, and if somebody kills the target, you get none of the effects of Scale the Heights.
I'm just gonna say, you didn't say it in very much less words with that.
This is recorded. We can see exactly how much time it took. Okay, yes, let's go over some other stuff here. I want to point out a thing. Okay, so the thing that I think would be the coolest, I just don't know if you can get the final piece on a budget. This deck runs Spring Heart Nantuko, which you can bestow onto a creature, and when a land enters, you can pay 2 mana to make a copy of the thing that it's attached to.
We're close to infinite here.
Yes.
We just need to add 1 more mana to the land.
Yes. So here's how this works. Since Tatsiova or many other things in this deck can turn a land into a creature, you can bestow Springheart Nantuko onto that land creature. When you copy a land creature, the result is only a land, because the effect that turns it into a creature is not copyable. So you go, great, I'll play a land, I'll pay 2 mana, I'll make a copy of the thing that it's attached to. It makes just a land. Specifically, because the land is now not the land copy is not a creature, you can tap it for mana. But also, you've made a land which re-triggers Springheart Nantuko. So if you can either put this onto a land that itself taps for 2 mana, which does not exist on a budget like this, or you have an effect that adds 1 mana to tapping a land, you can then just go, great, play a land, make a copy of it, land enters, trigger Nantuko, pay the 2 mana with the land I just made, make another copy, infinite lands, infinite landfall. Yeah.
So yeah, to go back for a chatter here, just to show the ruling on this real quick. What do you like?
We won't be able to go through and like find the rule in the comprehensive rules, but for any spell at all, if it only has a single target and that target does not exist or is not legal by the time the spell resolves, nothing of the spell happens.
Yes.
That just is a rule that That is just how Magic works.
So but also to say that new cards are worded in such a way to avoid this now. What that this card would say now, if they printed this, where is it? Scale Heights is down here, so is all the way down here.
Mm-hmm.
If they printed this today, the way they changed these cards to make them work, it would say target player gains 2 life and can play an additional land this turn.
Mm-hmm.
That is how these cards are changed now, so that they are avoiding this kind of blowout nowadays. Leyline Abundance doesn't work because our creatures, because they are not creatures specifically.
Yeah, Leyline of Abundance does not give you the infinite need because it only adds mana to tapping a creature, and the copy that Springheart Nantuko makes is not a creature.
And even if we turn it to a creature,
then it has Summoning Sickness.
So yeah, we do need something else. I also think that Leyline of Abundance is just a cut from this deck. I don't think I think it's cool, and it has a little bit of and it has synergy, but I just don't think. I think if the fact that it does nothing until your game plan is online, at the point that you have to have 7 lands and Tatiova is doing her thing, that's when feels like it's so late, and it only works for Tatiova really in the deck. There's not much else. Is why I would cut it.
Oh, hold on. Are we not reading things? Okay, so she gives the land haste. So if the land enters from Nantuko, then you can target the land itself from Tatio's ability. Okay. Oh. I'm on board with that. I do wish that there was an option that would work without Tatiova on board. But yes, with Tatiova as an additional piece, that absolutely works.
Yeah, I love a nice budgety combo like this. Yeah, yes. That's cool.
We were saying a thing, and I wanted to say another thing, which is just how life works. What were we just talking about? A Leyline of Abundance. I would absolutely not cut this card. This to me is totally. This is Commander. We're not trying to optimize this deck. This is on a budget. When you get to start with this in play at the beginning of the game, that's cool and fun and makes you feel great. And it leans into what we want. We are going land wide. It gives us a way to pump our creatures up. And it's at instant speed. And so we can go like, all right, I made a bunch of lands. Pass the turn, leave my blockers up. Right before I untap, activate this using my double creature land mana and swing big on the next turn. I like it for all reasons.
That's fair. I mean, I think I'm still in the other boat where even when you start this in play, it is a useless card until you've hit the 7 lands. But your point is also completely fair. I want cards that are more proactive than that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the card almost feels a little win more, as it only when your game plan is already online does the card then start acting and put you in a place. But yes, it is big, splashy, and fun, which I do love me a big, splashy, fun, silly thing to do, which that card does.
Yeah. Okay, some things. We've talked a little bit about cuts and how you don't read your cards. Here is something that I'm not sure how I feel about it. Like, I feel like this is an easy cut for me, but maybe I'm missing something. Inga and Esika. Creatures you control have vigilance and gain the ability to tap for mana that you can only use to cast creature spells. And when you cast a creature spell, if 3 or more mana from creatures is spent to cast it, draw a card. I can see why you would put this in a deck like this, but to me, the only benefit you get out of this is vigilance. Because your lands that are creatures already tap for mana, and you can use it for whatever, and you only have 19 creature spells in the deck. So this is not drawing you a bunch of cards.
Yeah. This is also this feels like it fits in the exact same category as Leyline of Abundance in my head, where it's like it's only really doing something when you've got your game plan online and you're already into the mode to get going. And because of that, do we need that extra thing? I think you can afford to either attack with your creatures, which is an option, or do the opposite of not attacking and then tap them for mana. I think you don't need both to be in a good position.
Yeah, and this is also one of the more expensive cards in the deck.
Yeah, it does save you some budget, but also they might already have it.
Okay, another one for me, Traverse the Outlands. It's also a little pricey, and we don't go tall here. We don't have ways to make our creatures very big, so this is probably only getting you like, 3 or maybe 4 lands, and like, sure, that's solid, but I don't know that by the time I have 5 mana to spend, that is the thing I want to do, is put some tap lands into play, and have to have something of high power. Like, most likely you just have 3. This is just a bad rate.
Good morning, friend Kai. I agree with you. I am a big proponent of these big giant ramp spells. I think that they are a great way when you play a bigger deck that's going really, really big to get there. But you're not going to consistently have. I think you want to be hitting at 5 for this minimum.
Yeah.
To be playing it, and this deck is not going to consistently do that. So yes, you are right. I also had this on my cuts. And like I said, I am Traverse the Outlands enthusiast.
Yeah.
If I can find a reason to put this in the deck, I will. And I just don't think we have the reasons.
Okay, as the player that likes these kinds of things, do you have a replacement for this? Because I feel like there are a lot of spells that do big ramp based on something. Is there a good replacement for this?
Oh, there is a... I do not know the name of it, nor can I think of it. But it gets lands more per creature. It counts like creatures. It's not exactly that. That's not the exact wording. It's not just like how many creatures you have, but it cares maybe about tapped creatures or something. There is something along these lines where it searches for lands based on some sort of creature count. Second Harvest?
No, that's tokens.
That's tokens, no, but that it is Harvest, I believe. Let's put Harvest up there and see if we can find it. Oh. Yeah, it's one of those words they use. Is it Bountiful Harvest? No, that hurts.
Gain a land for each.
Don't play Bountiful Harvest, please. Good God.
Here, we can do this.
Oh yes.
Ta-da!
I think I will recognize the art as you scroll here.
Harvest Season. Search for X basic, where X is the number of tapped creatures you control.
100%.
This seems excellent.
Yes, you can tap your creatures because they're lands.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah. So
the tapped lands that you've used to pay for this spell.
Yes, I knew that there was a card that counted creatures. I'm glad it was actually. Sometimes you will accidentally make up cards in your head that are semi-close, but I actually had this right. Okay. It is number of tapped creatures you control. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Okay.
Yeah, perfect replacement. And it's perfect for this deck because you will search out all those basics at once, sometimes, which will all make your creatures into bigger creatures. Something I think this deck is missing, and that I would throw a couple of dollars at, is recurring lands from graveyards. So what a deck like this does is put you in a position where you have to put your lands in danger in a way that other decks do not. Mass land destruction is something that is a higher bracket. This is a lower bracket deck. But now Wrath of God.
Yeah, you're turning your lands into more fragile things that people are like, well, I wasn't trying to blow up your lands, but I did.
Wrath of God is mass land destruction. So we have Sultai Will of the Sultai? Will of the Sultai, which is a cool little card for this deck. I can't remember the other ability, but one of the abilities to return all lands from your graveyard, come on, load up, is to return all lands from your graveyard to play. And if you control your commander, you get both effects, which the second effect is put X +1/+1 counters, where X is the number of lands you control. We're a big deck. That's a lot of counters that's going to actually do a lot. This could actually make Tetiova get a commander kill.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think you should spend the $2, which I know it's a little bit expensive, but this effect is so important. If you don't want to spend $2, you can go with the cheapest option, which is the Mending of Dominaria.
It's in the deck.
Oh, is it? Never mind. You've already gone. But I think you want at least 2, if not 3, of this effect in the deck.
I wonder. All right, what's the wording? Return all
lands. I did do this search. Don't play that.
Don't play that.
Don't play Sunder.
Okay, hold on. What's the all land cards. Return all land cards.
Oh yeah, land. It's singular. Ale land. Return ale land.
Okay, yeah, let's what looking at budget options. Yeah, that just is the only one that's under.
I did this search as well before the stream, and it is the only budget option. I mean, you can get an Aftermath Analyst like $4, I believe. But it's $5 if you're going directly to Card Kingdom. But you can get one for like $3 or $4. But it's still an expensive card, and this is just an expensive effect. Every one of these cards, I think, just like Mending a Dominaria, Summon Titan in a after the release will be a cheap card. It'll be a bulkier rare from the set, and that you will be able to get that for $1, especially right after release when everyone's ripping them open. So I think that card will be cheap.
Yeah, or like a couple weeks after.
Yeah, that's in that one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about some things that we could add to this, because we are nearing where we could move on.
Yes.
I think I only really had 2 that were budget. I think you did a lot more work on this one. This is the one that I was like, for sure this goes to the deck. This is super cheap and does the things that you want. You are giving your land creatures vigilance, so you can feel free to swing out with your flying vigilant lands every turn and have them up for mana and for blockers. And then it just gives you a second version of Tatiova ability. Land ETB, turn one of your lands into a 3/3 with haste until end of turn.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree. This is just second version of a commander that doesn't do flying, right? And it only lasts on the turn.
But vigilance very important.
Yeah. I mean, that is the playable part of this card. Yes. You need all of, to be fair, this isn't a very playable card in a non-budget deck, but great here on a budget.
Yes.
Perfect. We're going big on mana. If we scroll down, I think we have Stroke of Genius, right? I would put in specifically Blue Sun Zenith. What I love about Blue Sun Zenith specifically, and it is budget because
it's budget now.
I believe so. I mean, we could double check. I believe it was a budget card.
I maybe got a reprint.
I think it's got a bunch of reprints. It's more expensive than I thought, but also this is Card Kingdom prices. I keep thinking that. But Blue Sun Zenith, I thought it was like $1.50 when I looked at it, which is a little bit more. What this card does is when you go super big on lands, it also turns into a win con, which is something a lot of the other ones, drawing cards is winning, right? But you can mill opponents out with this when you go big enough, which if you have Leyline of Abundance and you've got 20 lands in play, which is super viable to do in this deck, then it turns into a win con to mill out opponents because you can target them with it, which I really like about this card. And because it shuffles back into your deck, you can draw it again to do it again.
How much is the commander one? It probably is pricier, right? But there's a one where if you control your commander, you can
draw X, mill double X.
Yes.
Thank you for the resubscription. Squee.
Drown in Dreams. Thank you, Red.
Yeah, watch it be cheaper than what I was just suggesting. I would love that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
This is the card.
Yes, run this for sure, because it does the Stroke of Genius thing at the exact same rate. But then if you have Tatiova out, you can use this to definitely one-shot players by targeting them with both the draw and the mill twice X.
Yes. I think big credit to you for Winged Portent. Cute little card for the deck. Perfect budget card. These are the kind of cards I love to see on a budget. You went out of your way. You found a card that is hyper specific to what we're doing here. Perfect. Great deck building.
Yeah. This is one I did not check the price on, but it was printed at Uncommon recently. So, There's
Oh yeah, dude.
Look, okay, so this is for sure one that I would add if I was building this deck. Eudora Gravegardener. When another non-token creature you control dies, you return it to the battlefield face down under its owner's control. It's a forest. So when you make your land into a creature and your opponent kills it, then you return it to the battlefield as a land.
This also, if we add any sack outlet, which we don't have, this deck doesn't have, but if you add a sack outlet, it is also infinite with your commander, because the new forest comes in, you make it a 3/3 creature, you sacrifice it, you make it a 3/3 creature. I mean, this deck doesn't really do that, but it is totally a...
Yeah, I mean, any incidental landfall that is significant, but like other Tatiova gives you a big advantage, but I don't know that there are any sack outlets
that you want to be playing.
In these colors, that is budget.
You can play, what is Zeranorb? I think Zeranorb is a budget card.
Yeah, because I think that was printed at Uncommon in a Horizon set.
If you're actually putting, like, legitimately, if you can afford to put in 3 or 4 of the recur all your lands, Zeranorb becomes a more viable card for this deck.
Yeah.
So that's very funny. Zeranorb is, if you don't know, I know it's a very famous card, but I know a lot of newer players don't know this Zeranorb. Yeah, 79 cents. Zeranorb, sacrifice the land, gain 2 life.
Yeah.
It's actually totally playable within this list, especially if you have more of the return all your lands cards.
Yes.
We should probably move on.
We should move on. Let me see. Was there anything else that you were like, this is perfect?
No, I think this deck is a really, really solidly built budget deck that I was very happy with. Oh, there was one. If you scroll up, there's...
You have a mouse.
Yeah, I do. If I would just put in any... The problem with this card can only ever draw 3. There's just... You can play... That's too expensive.
Oh, that got so many reprints.
What's the cycle one? Reconnaissance mission. That's cheap.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's put Reconnaissance mission. You can just draw more cards.
Yeah.
That's all. I think Keeper is a cute card, but it's not a very good card.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're playing Cat Tribal, then play Keeper. Yeah, you need a specific reason to play it, and I think that's the only real one. But yeah, other than that, this deck's good. And last thing, I would cut like Lofty Denial and You Find a Villain's Lair. I think they're real bad. And I would just play like Negate and Arcane Denial.
I mean, Arcane Denial is still like $2 or something.
Fair, but if you You Find a Villain's Lair 100% for Negate. Yeah, like just an easy switch. Villain. You do not want to be playing any version of Cancel in Commander, even at lower power. It is pretty bad. But yeah, your deck is... you built a really... This is really well built on a budget.
Yes.
Which is great.
Okay, cool. That's the first one of the day. We only took a long time with it, but that's what we like to do. Okay, so now we will go back to the beginning of the list. Okay.
Thank you for the new follow, friend.
So this list, or lists, were submitted by the Twilight Sovereign, one of our patrons. It is the Indoraptor Perfect Hybrid. But what we're doing today is we're comparing their original list for this deck to their new, significantly updated list for it.
So, well, let's start with their original.
Let's start with the commander, because this I think is very important for understanding how I feel about this deck, at least. So this is 3 mana in Jund, Bloodthirst X, so you can sacrifice any number, when it enters with X counters, where X is the amount of damage dealt to your opponents this turn. And then you menace and enrage. When it's dealt damage, you choose an opponent at random, you deal damage to them equal to the Indoraptor's power, or they have to sacrifice a non-token creature.
So what is your thoughts? You said you have thoughts and feelings about this card immediately. So,
thoughts about the build in
particular. Oh,
particular.
not the Indoraptor. Okay.
Yeah, I think this concept, the flavor, is very fun. Both iterations of the deck is this raptor is eating goblins.
which I love. But also, I want to say, this card's real good. I have not taken the time to sit down and read this card. When I was like, holy crap! It's so easy to get him really big, and then it's real easy to deal 1 damage to him repeatedly until your opponents die. This card is like, whoa! What? I'm just like, I know they like to push Universes Beyond cards because they want when they make Jurassic Park, they want Jurassic Park fan to feel like, wow, my Magic cards are good, and wow, this Magic card is good. Like I scroll down, I'm like, oh yeah, Pestilence is in this deck. And Pyro, whatever the version, I'm just like, oh, what a silly thing.
See, that's funny because it's certainly different play styles. Because this is much more in your like wheelhouse than it is in mine. Me reading this card, I'm like, like this reads as both not terribly interesting or powerful to me as a player. Like I'm like,
I actually think, funnily, I think because of how the power level and play patterns go, this card isn't interesting. I think it's going to lead to a lot of the same play patterns. Personally, and why I wouldn't build this deck is the play pattern of hit your opponent's bloodthirst for as much as you possibly can, and then you just kind of win by hitting it with like Goblin Bombardment. And it's like that's just how it kind of feels. They won't have enough to sacrifice when its power's 10. After you make them sacrifice their 4 creatures, oh no, you win because those are +1/+1 counters. He has 11 toughness. I can just keep pinging him. That's how I feel this will go a lot of times.
I mean, it does I like that they made it choose an opponent at random because you don't have that control. So like, sure, that would work exactly the way that you said if it was only a single opponent, but because you don't have that control, it's just going to go, and you have to get it much higher up or have much more pings to be able to not just go, great, I've caused a lot of problem, maybe somebody's dead, but now the other players go, all right, we need to kill him.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so we get to show off more Moxfield stuff. Is either of these on our?
No.
But we don't even have to do this. So watch this. We're gonna go to more. We're gonna go to compare. All we have to do.
What? This I have not seen.
Is put in the URL. Boom. All right. So now it'll give you all the cards that are only in the original list,
Wow.
the cards that are only in the new list, and then all the cards that are in both decks.
I'm only slightly over exaggerating because that's actually super cool, and I have not seen this feature yet.
Yeah.
That is a really cool feature to have to compare 2 lists against each other. So yeah, we have 37 different cards of difference.
Yeah, these are drastically different decks.
These are drastically different. First thing, thank you for cutting your signets in your green deck. That get those out of there.
Yeah, but we should check, did they replace these with other ramp or did they just cut ramp? Because and I already know the answer because this was another thing that I saw when I was in there. It doesn't get replaced.
Yep, Nature's Lore, 3 visits, things like this, or if you want creatures, you can, because I know you do have like some creature ramp. If you want to go creature ramp, elves of any kind. I know you want goblins. If you want to stick to only goblin creatures, then Nature's Lore 3 visits and your Sky Shroud claims, all those cards.
Yes. This is though a deck that has a lot of very cheap creatures, is very low to the ground. Like even your commander only costs 3. Do you feel that the deck still needs that ramp? Do you want to be ramping on turn 2, or do you want to be playing something that's going to hit an opponent?
I like having options and not just going completely all in. I feel like even in your more low to the ground decks, it is important to have some ramp because not every game can be won through that low to the ground, and sometimes you need to keep up with your opponent's overly resourcing. Sometimes, like, if everyone else is ramping and you aren't the ramper, then you can just fall behind. So I think you do need to still fit in some ramp even in your low to the ground decks. Even if it's like, oh, I don't have to play 10 like the normal deck, make sure you have your 6, 7 there to be able to do that.
Yeah, I actually completely agree with this. I just wanted to hear your opinion on it.
Yeah.
Especially when this is especially relevant for like Arcane Signet and for Nature's Lore and 3 visits, because you get to use 1 mana right away, and this deck is full of 1-drops. So you're still not losing a ton of tempo there. You're still getting to go, great, ramp on turn 2 and still play a 1 mana goblin.
Yes. So yes, Rob the Princess. That is exactly what was it? Red? Yeah, it's tough to read his name but I don't even personally want to play Arcane Signet, but I do understand that it is solid, especially in your deck with 1-drops, like Veggie is saying. I do not put Arcane Signet in my green decks. I would rather play Rampart Growth and get a tapped land, unless my deck is really low to the ground like this. Then I see the argument. But yeah, I am absolutely not a fan of the Veggie Wagon's on the hunt to change things. Oh, look, that's so much better. Yeah, what is? Yeah, so Nerd Girl setup. Chat is itty bitty. It was first thing we quadrupled its size, and on top of quadrupling its size, we had to also make it bigger. She must have the best reading eyes of all time, because I could not read half the things you guys were saying, and now I can. I can read everything. But yeah, I do not play. What do you play Arcane Signet in green decks?
Yes.
I do not. I understand the upside, and I still would rather play Rampart Growth. And I think that's just a personal preference, because I don't necessarily feel I am correct in a power level standpoint to confidently go, I'm correct. But it's like, I'm still going to do it. I prefer that land ramp, and I've played in play groups where board wipes were going to happen almost every time, and I want to keep my land. I don't want my Signet going away.
Yeah, for me, I'm often playing a lot of 1 mana relevant spells, so I like the untapped mana.
Yeah,
so.
That is definitely a difference in our play styles. That you are very much I'm going to spell sling and play a bunch of cards, where I am going to play 7 or 8 really big cards throughout the course of this game, and those will win.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay, I can ramp and hold up, an offer you can't refuse, so that I can counter the Vandal Blast that you're going to try and, yeah. Okay, so looking at some more of these cards that were cut, I'm really sad that this card got cut. It's probably because it's not good.
Yeah,
but this just seems like exactly what this deck wants. Aside from the rate being really bad, because it's making extra goblins for you, and then it is a damage amplifier. Like, you only need to activate that the one time and then do your, like this allows you to end the game definitively with your Goblin Bombardment or whatever other thing that you're doing.
This card is a terrible rate, and it is sad. I think this is also a cool design, but it is bad. It is genuinely a bad card, so it is a totally reasonable cut. Also a reasonable cut. What is this? This card's terrible. I hate this card so much. It's just like sometimes there's a card that sticks in your head when you see it, and you're like, I hate that card. And for some reason, this is one that sticks in my head. I am very, very low overall on the on any, what was the original, Read the Bones. I think almost all Read the Bones are next to unplayable, and this is definitely adjacent to Read the Bones. No, it's not a fine card. I hate it. So you're wrong, Red. I'm right. You're not on stream to defend yourself. I win. High five, Veggie.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this is a playable card, just not here. Because I don't want to be playing this on 3. I want to be developing my board. This is certainly an aggressive deck. I want to be putting a creature on the board, and then later in the game, if I don't have the cards that I need my spell to dig me farther or to draw me more cards.
Yeah. What else is here? What is this one? I actually don't know this one off the top of my head. It enters to make some goblins that can't block. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just a whatever rate, mediocre. Oh my god, and now I'm in chat saying Rowan's Grim Search is great. Stop getting on your crutches, and this is unreal. Unreal. Good
right.
Cut on this too. Another one. Just these cards I don't think are playable in Commander. I think that all the versions of 3 mana, draw 2, lose 2 life, whether you get scries or not, or just not playable cards.
There just are so many things that give you the advantage, like give you the card advantage you're looking for either a better rate or like more in a more impactful way.
Yeah, we've come to the same thing where Veggie's kinder, and he's like, yeah, it's not a bad card, but because those are so much better, this is a bad card. that is my stance on it. Yeah.
Okay. What else here?
Ooh, if you want to scroll down to the new deck, I do have I see Shattering Spree here. I think we have forgotten we're in green. When you are in a green-red deck, you do not need to destroy just artifacts. Get things that hit artifacts and enchantments. And I don't think Shattering Spree is good enough to go, oh, I could see maybe an argument for something like Vandal Blast, because that does have such a big, huge impact overall.
And the utility.
But I do not think Shattering Spree. I think you should, especially if you want to be wiping artifacts and enchantments, which we kind of just want to wipe them all sometimes, play Fade to History. Love Fade to History, which is just destroy artifacts and enchantments. Whoever had one gets a bear. And those bears are worthless nonsense.
Yeah. Meh. I don't like artifact and enchantment wipes in general. That are like I don't know. I like a targeted thing that has utility. But yeah, I think the Shattering Spree here, there are just better choices. You even have like Wear Down here, which I like much more because it has the option to hit artifacts or enchantments. It has the same rate as Shattering Spree for 2 targets. You're just giving somebody a card, which is not bad if you're in Commander. What? Hammy?
Hammy's making some loud noises over there. What's the one from Modern Horizons? They destroy an artifact and you can like pay to also destroy an enchantment.
Oh, I should know this off the top of my head because I play this card all the time. Wow, yeah, it's just gone. Collective Resistance.
Collective Resistance, great card. Yeah, play that card. Yeah, I actually, just because this is a difference of opinion, I'm sure people like to hear it. I really am high on something like Fade to History. I have played it in a lot of decks. In your decks that don't have a lot, wiping all artifacts and enchantments becomes something. It becomes somewhat of a one-sided thing when you do not care about it. I have found that it is very worth playing.
I think my main experience is just that I don't want to spend 4 mana for that thing. I have more often been like, oh, if I play a like Pick Your Poison or something, I'm getting rid of most of the things that most of my issues for a much better rate. But what was I had a thing. Actually, Collective Resistance in general would be really nice here because you also have a commander that people are going to want to remove, and one of the modes is give a creature indestructible and hexproof.
You say hammy cameo? I mean, you had it there. A hameo. Yes, thank you. I'm glad someone else said the hameo. Yeah. I actually had to because he was being very loud. There was no choice but to bring him on camera.
Yeah, I think we have no wranglers here today.
Yeah, everyone else is out doing important business stuff.
Okay. So I want to talk about a general adjustment that's been made to this deck that I understand but dislike. In the update, we get Perforos, we get Impact Tremors. So we've now added generic go wide win cons. Bleh. I think what is interesting about this deck is winning with the Indoraptor. Like that's just a cool like even though the card, like I said, is not really my play style, it's much more interesting to me to lean into that game plan than it is to do the same thing that every Goblin deck does, which is play Perforos.
Yeah.
Like I like taking Goblins and using it for this Indoraptor strategy, but this just makes it more normal, more mainstream man.
I would also,
You know?
I like, so something you can do so this fun goblin thing that we're doing here is cool. Like you said, I would put things with Devour in here because I think I would lean into the style that we're going for, which is eating and using our silly goblins. Just devour 'em, eat them.
Yeah,
Like,
it's funny because when I first looked at this deck, I assumed that Indoraptor had Devour and not Bloodthirst just because of the way that was built.
Hammy right now is off camera and he's digging at like.
Let me see what he's doing. You continue.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely more of your kind of deck than mine.
Yeah. Where were we? I don't even know. Now, Hammy won't stop distracting me from this actual deck. So, yeah, like I said, Devour becomes a really cool mechanic that turns the goblins into fodder and gives you another reason to be playing goblins and is thematic. While not being a super crazy powerful thing, I would replace your like I might leave Impact Tremors because it's not as over the top, but I'm with Veggie where I would cut Perforos from this deck. When you push into a theme, avoiding the easy win, right? And this is the easy win. Perforos, you want to go wide, you can win with Perforos. That's always true. And if you want to push this to a higher level, if you want the deck to be stronger, you leave Perforos, right? If you just want that strength in the deck, but if you want more thematic cards, then you should cut it. Also, I haven't looked at the mana base for these.
You'll have to hit back to look at the newer list.
No, it's fine. I was just kind of like, you can. This deck doesn't feel like a crop rotation deck, and I also don't feel like we want to push into 3. This deck feels like a good 2.
Yeah, the crop rotation is the only game changer in the list. The original list had none.
Yeah, so I would just cut crop rotation. That's like I think you have built a very nice 2 here that is starting to push into 3 with like Perforos and stuff. I would push right back down to the 2 and stay there because this is a really fun, thematic, silly deck.
Yeah, from what I could tell, the crop rotation is only in here because the updated version adds this 3-tree city as the only real target and also the Urza's Cave. So this is like pick a direction because my guess is I played this deck and I like this deck, but now it's not keeping up with my play group or the people at the LGS, and I need a higher power game plan. And so this 3-tree city thing has been like inserted into the deck. If that's the case, put more powerful cards in. You've got 2 more game changer slots if you're going to go into bracket 3. I would go that direction, but just having the single crop rotation just for this 3-tree city plan to me is like pick a lane.
Isn't this card terrible? Yeah, this card's bad. Don't play this. This is just not a good card. There is just much better pumps. Even Shared Animosity, which I'm not that's not something I am yelling for people to be playing, is way better than this card. This card is next to unplayable, especially if you're pushing into the Perforos power. Could not be further from the Perforos power. But yeah, it's an interesting take where it's like, hey, I need to push into the powerful, so here's the Perforos, but also here's Ferocity of Wilds, which could not be more of a 2 card in my mind.
The other thing in this that I'm like, I feel like this just needs to figure out exactly what kind of deck it is trying to be. This Putrid Goblin was added, which made me look for some more of what was going on here. This does have the Persist Infinites in it. So we have Putrid Goblin and Murderous Redcap somewhere. Is this...
I mean, yeah. And then Grumgully.
It's in here. Am I right? I'm not... I
don't see Murderous Redcap. Oh, it's right here.
Thank you.
Yeah, just...
Murderous Redcap. And then it has actually a bunch of different ways to go infinite with it. You have Rhythm of the Wild, you have Grumgully, you have Metallic Mimic. And so for those of you unfamiliar, you sacrifice your persist creature, it returns with a -1/-1 counter, but if one of these things is out, it puts a +1/+1 counter on it. Both counters are removed. You then sacrifice the creature over and over and over again. If it's Murderous Redcap, it just wins you the game because it's dealing damage every time that it does that. If it's Putrid Goblin, then you just need one other piece.
Goblin Bombardment right here.
Right, Goblin Bombardment will do it, or the Impact Tremors or whatever. I think at this point, if you figure out what is your priority with this deck, is the priority to win? Great. Maybe you switch it off of Indoraptor. Like, there just are better there are better Jund commanders for this theme. You could do Korvold if you wanted the highest power that you could get here. You could do like an interesting Tevesh and Tana the Bloodsower partner combo that both support going wide and sacrificing things. Or if you just want a more goblin-y kind of thing, like Shattergang Brothers is interesting and allows you to use all of your extra goblins for value. But I really, like, as far as the way that I build decks, I really want this deck to take an identity and go with it. Either it's goblins and we're playing big win cons like Persist Combo or Perforos, or we're Indoraptor and we're really leaning into what makes that card interesting and fun. And I feel like this is conflicted.
Yeah, I think that I agree with you. This is not how I would build a deck, but I think you have built it fine. If you, depending on where it's going to come down to, I feel like this deck feels tailored to a play group. When I look at it, it feels very tailored to a very specific play experience that it seems like you deal with all the time. And because of that, I think the deck's probably just fine in that case. It's again, I don't think it's not the way we would put this deck together. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of different play experiences that exist in this world. And I actually think I would leave the Indoraptor because I get it seems like they like this commander mm-hmm. and they picked it out. So build, find the spot where it's good. I personally think this deck fits better in a 2 than a 3, which is where you're at right now. Mm-hmm. But if you need to push up into a 3, feel free to actually push into that 3 range and actually get more powerful with your 3 full game changers. Like, get in there. I would, I don't know what you want. It doesn't really matter. Pick and choose the game changers that fit for you and push yourself into there and really get rid of those weaker cards, or get rid of the stronger cards and push yourself down to a 2. You gotta do one or the other.
Yeah. Red, I did see you in the comments. To the best of my knowledge, there is not a Cabal Coffers in this deck. So
it has Urborg, no coffers.
It has Urborg, no coffers. So the crop rotation is solely for the 3-tree city plan. Okay. So yeah, I really like, final thoughts are I really like the overall flavor of the deck. Like, Indoraptor with goblins is super fun. I personally would like it to lean one direction or the other, goblins, or like using the goblins to supplement a primary Indoraptor plan. And then either figuring out what power level it wants to be, whether it is a 2, we're no game changers here, or we're leaning into these higher power win conditions.
Yeah, and I just see a card here. Good job cutting this. This card sucks. I'm gonna say it. Unclaimed territory is bad. You should not play it in general. There's no even unless you're literally like a dedicated type bowl deck,
like Umori.
Like, yes, Umori, all creatures. Just don't do this. This card's bad. Just play a land that taps for colors.
Yeah, just replace, cut all of these, replace it with Secluded Courtyard.
I think, oh my god, you're the worst.
We should move on.
No, yes, we should move on. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost. I had something, I lost it, and then you said I should put the same as that card. So
yeah, thanks, Twilight Sovereign. Okay. Now we are headed to Broseph, Stalin's Felithar, Dawn of the Abzan deck. This is a commander that I think is really powerful that people missed because there were a lot of flashier cards in this set. I think the what this does for the rate is absurd. So it's only 3 mana, 3 through trample. When it enters or attacks, you can sacrifice any non-land permanent and put a counter on each creature you control. That is so much. That is so much.
Yeah, this card is very, very, very good. It's so easy to have some stupid thing on your board that you want to sacrifice. It actively gives you an advantage. And it's just like, what is one encounter on every creature? This thing's only 3 mana. It costs nothing. And when you're gonna turn sacrifice into being good for you, which is what good sacrifice decks do. So it's like you don't even just this reads upside, get upside. Is that good?
It's so good.
Okay,
It's
can I also say cut this? This card sucks. This card is awful. Like, Dragon Sniper is not a playable commander card in any bracket but one, I think. This is a bad card.
All right, well, just to disagree with you.
Go for it.
I think there are a bunch of decks that want this. Keyword soup decks.
Yeah, you're right. There is a niche for this, but this is not even close to that niche. We're not approaching that niche. So,
Finn wants this.
Can I do this myself? Leave. I don't want you here anymore.
What? What's the archer? The archer commander. That's okay. So we are just looking generically for upgrades for this deck. I think there's so many different cards that you can put in this that are good. So I'm happy with the kind of general request here. So creatures. There's 30 of them. I think we could go more already. The deck is very creature based, and you want stuff that you can sacrifice. But it does have a lot of things that are making little sacrificial bits, like Marionette Apprentice or Reassembling Skeleton. We also have a lot of counter synergy cards, Evolution Witness, and Kami of Whispered Hopes.
What a card for this deck.
Right?
I agree with you completely. This should be a 40-plus creature deck. You are a creature deck. Go in, make your card draw creature base, make your removal creature base, make your ramp creature base.
Yep.
Get all the mana dorks in this deck. I cut Cultivate, cut Kodama's Reach. Those are super simple to throw out of this deck. Landware Elves, Elves of Deep Shadow, Elvish Mystic. Get every single version of the 1 mana dork in this deck. Avacyn's Pilgrim, because those hold counters. Those are good to sacrifice. They do everything your deck wants to do.
They also let you play Felithar on turn 2.
Yes, also very important. Yes, I play a Henzi deck, also a 3 mana commander. Making sure you can play it on curve right away is great. Granted, you're not going to want to sacrifice that first turn, but next turn you're just going to play something to sacrifice.
Yeah. Also, like, to me, I want an equivalent replacement for these. What's the tree?
3 mana Kodama.
No. But yes, Kodama also.
Kodama of the West Tree. Yeah.
Kodama of the West Tree, very good here. But I don't know why I can't think of any card names today.
It's also very funny that you said, what's the tree that would be an equivalent ramp spell? And there's a different tree that's an equivalent ramp spell.
It's Selesnya and taps equal to colors.
Fae.
Burrow Elder.
Fae
Yes.
Burrow Elder.
Yes, that's the exactly the same slot of, hey, it's a 3 mana, it's my 3 mana space that then ramps me, and it ramps you faster because you've got a 3-color commander.
Yeah.
A lot of these can be updated to creature-y type things.
Yes, like your Anguish of Making here, that becomes a Chupacabra. Something along those lines. I like Chupacabra. I think I don't think you need.
I don't think that fills the same space. Chupacabra only hits creatures.
Yeah, that's true. I agree that it doesn't fill the same space, but I think you end up putting in more creatures that also hit artifacts and enchantments, and creatures don't tend to do the Anguish of Making answer anything. That is true.
Like I was gonna say, this is one of the cards that I'd be like, okay, this you don't need to replace because this gives you a thing that your creatures would not be able to give, which is instant speed interaction on whatever you want.
Fair. I mean that is a fair thing to do. Also, cut this.
No.
What? You like this?
I love this card. I think this card is very underplayed. The decks that it's good in, it is really good in.
You didn't even say anything, and you won me over. Because now I'm just thinking. I've talked about it hasn't aired yet, but on the podcast I have talked about not liking. Oh no, I have talked about it. I think it has already aired. I can't remember. Oh no, it hasn't. It's the Final Fantasy episode coming up. But I have talked about not liking Heroic Intervention, and yes, when you can replace it with something synergistic, this is that. Yeah. You are right.
Right, and this card also is so much. There's so much more function to it than that because sure, it can be board wipe insurance. It's also combat trick that kills an opponent. It's also some extra value because somebody's using targeted removal. This card is very underrated. Because of the flexibility of what it does, and I think a lot of people are just assuming, oh, it's just a heroic intervention. No, it does a ton.
So I see a suggestion for Murderous Rider. I think Murderous Rider is unplayable in Commander. I think the 3 mana destroy target creature or planeswalker is just that rate is bad, and the creature is nothing. And granted, there is some synergy with this deck, but also doesn't go to your graveyard, which is going to be other synergies your deck will build to, depending on the build. But yeah, I absolutely do. I do not like that. A card I would play in its place, I think, is a better card. Is the Chop Down Giant Killer, which it is a similar card, but the 1 mana creature is actually a relevant thing. Comparatively.
I do have to point out. You're like, yeah, Murderous Rider. I think this card's unplayable in Commander. Hey, by the way, you should run Ravenous Chupacabra.
I'm glad you did that. I am glad you actually did that. There is such a huge difference between getting a creature that is a body that synergizes with your deck that matters. It is very funny how, yes, I will pay 1 more mana for the exact same effect at sorcery speed, but because it is putting that on a body in a creature-based deck matters so much and is such... Every instant sorcery in your creature-based deck that you can switch to a creature makes your deck that much better. And they add up to this huge difference where it's like, oh, I cut Murderous Rider, which the reason I don't like, if Murderous Rider was 3 mana destroy and get the creature, I'd like it, but it's 6 mana to get the creature. All of that adds up to a really, really big difference.
See, and that's also like difference in play style. I value an instant speed ability much more than the lower rate for the body. But
I think you should include like my personal thing is I think you want 2 to 3 in your creature beast decks of the instant removal. Something like, the Beast Within, the Anguish of Making, things to compensate for the fact that everything else is on creatures. And then, I want everything on creatures. Like, I don't want this. I want, you can put in Pier in this spot.
Lae'zel.
Yeah, exactly. Lae'zel. You put Pier and Lae'zel. Like, everything we're doing here, we can do on creatures.
Yes. I want to point out something, because I think it was... Red, you said that this card, Duty Beyond Death, worse than Heroic Intervention since it's just as creatures. So, in a bubble, correct. Yes, Heroic Intervention will protect more things. In this deck, incorrect. You have 12 total permanents that Heroic Intervention will protect, and almost none of these we care about getting hit by that. The extra that you get off of the Duty Beyond Death is so much more worth the fact that sometimes you can't protect your Garruk's Uprising.
Yeah. Also, let me soapbox for a minute because I don't think I've talked about this in any decked out capacity yet. I think all versions of this card are bad. Even Grasp of Fate I am like iffy on, which is the best version of this. I you make your removal more permanent. Either put it to the graveyard, put it to exile, and don't let it come back. This card, the fact that it's like, yeah, answer their best thing, but then they can eventually get back. On top of that, some of the best things have ETBs. So you tuck away their best thing, and then next turn they get that ETB again. I honestly, the most playable one is O-Ring, and it has nothing to do with the effect. It's because you can
break it.
Break it. Yes. So yeah, absolutely 0%. I am like a 0% on these cards. Grasp of Fate is like the one exception.
Yeah, I think the reason that this is in the deck, because Broseph in the chat said that this deck originally started as opening a box and then building, but I will also say I have somewhat recently come more around to these type of effects. This card, bad. This card is bad. Grasp of Fate, good. The and other similar like effects like this, as long as either the rate is good or they're doing something else that is relevant, I like, because yes, they can get it back later, but usually, like say Shelter by Ghosts, 2 mana to remove any non-land permanent and boost one of your creatures. Sure, you've given your opponents a situation where they can get the card back, but they do have to spend a resource to do that, and you have 2 other opponents that do not want them to do that thing. So you can also use it as a political tool to be like, hey, I have this thing to remove their biggest threat, but if I do it, I need you all to help to protect it because they're going to try and make this go away. Grasp of Fate, also the fact that it removes one from each player, like that to me is worth it, because you all again have that political aspect of, sure, everybody has one thing that they want to get back from the Grasp of Fate, but they have 2 things that they do not want their opponents to get back from the Grasp of Fate. So I've enjoyed those much more in my Commander games. Maybe they're not the best choice, the most optimal choices, but I've enjoyed those cards in my deck much more, is the thing I've found.
Yeah, I mean, that's completely fair. I don't know. I really hate the feeling of them getting it back from my removal spell, when if it was another removal spell, they would have never got it back. That's because it doesn't have to hit all opponents. Grasp of Fate can, yeah.
You should, though.
It should, yeah, most of the time. I mean, there is situations to be nice in Commander, but yeah. I am in general just really far from ever playing these cards.
Yeah. All right, so let's go over the thing we're actually doing for this deck, because I could also talk about this for a while because there's a lot of interesting stuff.
A good switch here. There's a million 2 mana enter each opponent discards. If you want that, is that what this was? Or am I reading it wrong?
Each opponent discards and you lose 2 life.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just I cut this for all the rats that enter and make your opponent's discard. If you want that discard effect.
Why? Like,
because we want creatures.
I kind of like this here. Like, yes, I could see switching. Yeah, like, honestly, I probably just cut the whole thing. Because I think unless you're focused on a discard strategy, you don't need this. But I like the rate for a single mana that you get to do it. It has life loss tacked onto it, and when you sacrifice it to Felithar, you get additional value out of it.
See, it's just the value of getting it onto a body for me is so high, and that, like I said, like I said before, that little bit, I know it's a little.
It is a little,
and the little every single time adds up to a ton, and that's why I'm just like easy cut for me. Like,
I think you just cut it in general. I'm
just saying, if you want the same effect, there is multiple. I like all rats for whatever stupid reason.
Yeah,
burglar rat and all. There's like 4 of them, I think.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. So let me put us back on track though. Let's start with focusing more on what this deck has, what is good about this deck. We have a ton of counter synergy, because you are going to be able to put counters on your creatures every turn of the game. So being able to pump up a Gyre Sage, constantly return cards to your hand, get double counters, you make it Esper Sentinel relevant through an entire game. Draw a bunch of cards with Kutzil. Make your stuff unblockable. Like this is one of the big advantages of the deck is that you are able to you have this counter synergy constantly. So some of the upgrades I'd immediately be looking for are more of those counter synergy cards. Ones that I saw that seemed that would be very good in this. Basking Brood Scale is the big one. This, I mean, it is just exactly what you want, and for absolutely nothing. So 2-drop, you make a spawn every time a counter is put on it, which is every turn. That is either making you more bodies and you that are also getting more counters, or it's making you more mana that you can use, or it's making you a disposable permanence that you can sacrifice to Felithar. This card is exactly what this deck wants. I mean, we all know that this card is broken as hell, so like that one was easy. But there are because I've been working on like a +1 counter deck that I enjoy, because a lot of them can be very samey, but there's this little guy. Whenever one or more counters are put onto it, you draw a card. So you're investing only 2 mana on it, and the vigilance becomes very relevant because this will also be attacking, and like vigilance, super underrated commander.
No, it's funny. I thought you typed in Dusk Legion. I immediately thought of Dusk Legion Zealot, which is the one that ends with draw, which is actually playable in this deck because it's sack fodder that replaces itself. Mm-hmm. But it's just that was like, it's a fine card. But why are you pulling that up?
This one, again, you're investing only 2 mana, has vigilance, but whenever one or more counters are put onto it, you put a +1/+1 on each other creature you control.
Yes, Generous Pup is actually, this card is just good.
This card's absurd.
I mean, when I read this card, I thought it was, this isn't very good because it costs 5 mana. That was my thought, because I'm like, that was the cost that it had to be in my head, because that's how, like, they're going to overcost this effect, what makes sense. And I look, no, that is 2 mana card. I thought this was 5 mana.
Yeah. We saw the Gyre Sage. It would also put Incubation Druid in here. This blows my mind that I see this not even close to enough people are playing this card. Non-token creature enters proliferate.
Yes.
Holy crap.
I am super with you on that. This is a card that I came across in the past couple months while building decked out decks. And I was like, this card's amazing.
It's so good.
It came in a set filled with amazing cards, so it was easy to overlook, but it is ridiculously good. And this card and this deck already wants to be the non-token creature deck. That is what the deck is. Card is stupid when it gets going.
Yes. Red, I see you in the chat saying Botanical Brawler, and I want to say this is a card that I don't like. I think I remember exactly what this does. Botanical Brawler. All right, when a counter is put on another permanent you control, if it's the first time they put on that permanent, put a counter onto Botanical Brawler. Actually, yeah, this is probably pretty good here.
It's fine.
I was remembering it being different. It does require you to have a wider board for it to be as effective as you want. So I don't love this like as your 2-drop.
So instead of this, I would play Conclave Mentor, which costs the same amount of mana, and it's just another, whenever a +1/+1 counter is put on.
Put another one.
Yeah, I'd rather distribute them among your creatures is better than putting them on one creature. Mm-hmm. Like, we are a wide deck, so any effect that is going to say put on the extra counter, I think is better. Plus, that card randomly gains life.
Yeah.
For some extra synergy.
Nightshade. I think Cleopatra is not legal in this deck. I think that's a Golgari card. Is this legal in this?
We're in Golgari.
Oh, we're in Golgari. I don't know.
Yeah, we're talking about.
None of the words I said made sense. Yes, actually, we've had this commander on decked out before, and the deck popped off. It was absurd. Yes, this card is very good. I would play it. I would definitely play it in this deck.
Oh, that card's good.
Yes,
I miss Cleopatra because of all sets in the past 3 years that have not interested me, I think Assassin's Creed was the one where I was like, I could not care less about this set. I seek out spoilers for every set, not Assassin's Creed. I did not seek them out. I was like,
Oh yeah, see, I can understand people not like being like, this IP doesn't interest me, but I'm so magicked in that I'm like, I don't unless the IP is like aggressively against what I want, that I'm like, oh, but the game piece is interesting. Uh, what else? What else?
No, it's funny. I saw this card and immediately thought, don't play this, because my head was limited. Like this card's terrible and limited. So my head, no, this card is terrible and limited, and it's mainly because black is terrible and limited, and Abzan is terrible and limited. But this card is probably playable in the Abzan deck, but the Abzan deck sucks. So this card sucks and limited.
Yeah. I mean, oddly enough, this card sucks in limited.
Which is saying something.
Which is mind-blowing.
Yeah.
But yes. It is just simply because all of the other things you could be playing are so much better for limited. But that's not important. The non-creatures that I had in mind, replacing something like Heritage Reclamation with Requisition Rate. I've really liked this card. I wish it was an instant, but then the card would be really stupid. But I think it's great here. Destroy an artifact, add one more, destroy an enchantment, add one more, put a counter on each creature you control.
See, I just think this card should be an instant. And I agree, it's very, very powerful, but sometimes you just make it a rare, slap on that gold hat, and just go. One man, and I love this card. I would love the card. Sorcery does make it a lot weaker, but yeah, I agree that's a good card for the deck.
Yes, and then Damning Verdict was the other one. Like, it's you're gonna run it in every counter deck for all time, but it's a 5-mana one-sided board wipe for you. It means you are probably winning the game if nobody does anything about it.
If I was going to build this deck, I would build the Umori Companion. I would go all in. I would say all creatures 100%. Let's build.
Damning.
I have like Damning Verdict. Which one's that? Oh, it's Destroy with non. That's $22.
Yeah, look, it's getting a reprint though.
Whoa!
Because it's only had a single printing ever.
Whoa! I did not know that was a to me that's a budget one. Like it feels like not budget, but it feels like if it feels no budget. Budget was what I meant. Yeah, it feels like that, or at least that's what's like whoa.
Yeah,
holy crap!
Because it's a one-sided board wipe in a very common archetype that's only ever had one printing and is about to get its second. But yeah, it's yeah.
What the hey? That is a lot of money for that card.
Yeah. Do you have thoughts on things you would add, and then we'll do like cuts together?
Honestly, we've hit most of it where we need to be. The thing, like, I don't have any specific card that I would want to add. I just want to add creatures. Like whatever I want to, I just change. I want to change everything that I can to creatures. That's where I'm at.
Cool. I did see the Toski here is great. I would also put in Oran Frostfang. You draw a ton of cards off of these kind of things, and giving your go wide deck Death Touch is very good. Okay, how about cuts?
I cut sorceries, instants, artifacts, and enchantments is what I would cut from the deck.
If we're not Umori companioning.
Okay. If we're not Umori companioning, some of the worst cards, Exploration doesn't really fit this list at all. It's not what we're doing. It's a good card, and it can run away with games on turn 1, like in a lot of situations. But I think Exploration is a card that needs to be built around almost to be a good playable card.
Yeah, we don't have a particularly high land count. We don't have a way that we're getting extra lands. We don't have a way that we're drawing extra cards like consistently. Like sure, we have a few things.
Sometimes we will, but still.
Right, but yeah, we're not built for Exploration to succeed.
Oh yeah, another thing that way too much protect my board. I am like, so this protects your board. I mean, it's also a win count, but this protects your board, this protects your board, this protects your board, and this protects your board. That's 5. I think you need 2 of these kind of cards max, is where I'm at. They're hyper specific. Love this one now, as Veggie has turned me onto it. It is very synergistic with your deck. And then I would just, you're going to play a Chrome as well automatically. You can probably cut Truce and protection safely and easily,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe leave 3 if you really want to be safe. Leave 3 and leave flawless maneuver is what I would do.
Yeah. Because that's the thing is aside from flawless maneuver, you do need to leave the mana up for these, and I don't want to do that.
A thing about this deck, especially if you do go the route that we are talking about of upping your creature count to around 40-ish, you play at sorcery speed.
Yeah.
And because you're starting to play at sorcery speed, you have less to leave up. These become even more telegraphed, and the more telegraphed they are, the less good they are. So yeah, I am just not a fan. Flawless Move is incredible. It is an incredible card, but I don't want to dedicate that many slots to just protecting my board.
Yeah. Also, I think Teferi's Protection is the only game changer in this deck.
It's the only because. Thank you, Moxfield, for that little symbol. That is an incredibly good thing. Yeah, so yeah, just I would cut that.
Yeah. Also, this seems like a deck that really likes clever concealment over all of these other ones that aren't flawless maneuver, because you are always going to have an abundance of extra creatures. And a trick like that is much easier for you to actually pull off than, oh, I for some reason have left up 3 mana. I sure hope somebody doesn't board wipe. Like you'll get bad players, but you won't get decent ones.
I also think I think this has been power crept out of Commander. I think this card is absolutely awful now. We went over already like 2 or 3 cards just talking about this deck that are just way better than this card. This rate is not good anymore. The only way to get 2 things is to play at sorcery speed. A 4 mana sorcery to kill 2 things is not good. So I think this is Return to Dust is just not playable anymore as a removal spell in the Commander format.
Yeah, I also like Flare Fortitude better here since you have expendable bodies constantly. I wish this card was better. But also, I don't think I think this is for sure a thing you do not need in this deck. If you are concerned about an attack that is so big that you need to fog, something has gone very, very wrong. Because this deck is the wall. This is I have so many blockers, and all of them are probably pretty thick as well. How in the world is somebody coming at you with something that you need a fog for?
Yeah, this is funnily enough, a lot of cards we talk about them being win more. This is lose more, because you're already in order for this to be good, you need to be losing already, and then you fog for a turn and you've done nothing to advance your board state, so now you're losing even more.
Yeah,
look, I've not used that term before, but I like lose more.
More.
Lose more is a good term that I think I am going to start using much more often.
All right. So, Bros, if you are in the chat, there are a couple cards in here that I am curious about. Those cards are Spine of Ishsaw. And we'll start with Spine of Ishsaw and Deadbridge Chant. I maybe see the vision here. Like, Spine is a recyclable removal, because you can sacrifice it to Felithar and get it back to your hand, but 7 is just too much to pay for that.
Yeah, the decks where Spine of Ishsaw is playable, it is not consistently being cast for 7. You are reducing its cost, you are cheating it into play, you are doing other things, and that is where Spine becomes playable. It is not playable as 7, even if this was 7 mana and it went back to your hand right away every time, it'd be terrible.
Yeah,
like it just does not work for this deck.
Yeah, how about actually? Here we go. I'll put it on a body for you. I think this is in the name. We're just out of names today. Ruthless Lawbringer.
I was gonna sing body yada 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 yada.
Here we go. Enters, sacrifice another creature, destroy target non-land permanent.
Perfect for this deck.
Yeah.
I think something I do see that is a little lacking. You do need more. So we've talked about going to more creatures. We need sacrificeable fodder. A lot of these creatures aren't super sacrificeable. Like we have right here is great. This gives us fodder to sacrifice, but like this gives us fodder, and then there's like this is fodder, but there's only like 3 fodder. We need more fodder. We need lots and lots of things to like sacrifice, and that just needs to go up. Not everything can be the thing that's good when it gets counters.
Right.
You also need the reassembling skeleton also there. So you probably need about 3 to 5 more like fodder cards that are just there to be sacrificed.
Yeah, I mean, like I see Hello Mutter, but I don't see Hello Fodder.
uh,
All right, Dead Bridge seemed like a fun recursion piece. I think it is a fun recursion piece, but I think it has the same problem as Spine of Ishtar, where that's just so much to invest for. Like, do you really want to spend your turn 6 milling 10 cards and passing? Like, it doesn't do anything until it gets your upkeep. I think what would be a better recursion piece here? I mean, like I don't know, you have Evolution Witness. That card is just so good here.
I mean, if we don't want to really mill ourselves, which is why this card is extra bad. Like there's just not a point to milling ourselves and filling up our graveyard. That's not our commander. That's not our strategy.
That's not what I asked though.
What's a better recursion? So we need better recursion.
A better recursion for this deck.
That's a good question.
I mean, it also might just be play Eternal Witness, play Timeless Witness, because those are bodies that, with the recursion attached to them.
If you want to be able to revive anything, which straight to the battlefield, you can play like Phyrexian Delver. If that's an effect you feel you need.
Yeah.
For this deck, I don't think this deck does need it.
Right.
But that is something you could play. This deck.
You have Marin in here.
I love the mana curve is low here.
Mm-hmm.
Love this. Looking at this build first, I hate that this card costs 6 mana technically, because it doesn't cost 6 mana. I didn't see Agadeem's Awakening. Get Agadeem's Awakening in here. That is the recursion. Honestly, that's the answer. It's so simple.
Isn't that card like expensive though?
Maybe it is expensive, but the answer. But this isn't a super budget deck. So but the honest answer of like something that's really easy, like Agadeem's Awakening, should probably be. You want to go cheap? There's Send to Avernus. Ascend from Avernus.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's the same. It's the same thing, but it costs triple white pips and it's not a lot. And that is a much cheaper version because your mana value is so low. I love it's a good build here. Just play one of those 2 cards depending on where your budget lies, and you get that mass recursion that's much stronger than Dead Bridge Chant.
Yes. My other thoughts here. Garruk's Uprising. I think this is very cuttable. Because most of your creatures are not entering with 4 power.
Yeah, very, very true.
I assume this is mostly in here to give trample, and that could just be Dusk Shell Crawler.
No, he's already got it covered. We got Brawn.
I would also cut Brawn.
Okay, if we're cutting Brawn, then yes, then I agree with you.
Yeah, because we don't have a good way to get this into the graveyard other than having to cast it, and I don't want to spend 4 mana on it.
But also, know what's better than trample? Flying. Abzan Falconer just is going to give you an even better ability, and that's the effect you want. Like ultimately, like you don't need to go get trample if you're just going to fly over their heads.
Yeah, but I mean, if you only have 1 copy of Give Flying, I'm okay with there being like 2 more copies of
yeah.
Give.
If we feel we need additional versions of this effect, which in general I don't think Go Wide does. Overall, I think because if you're the deck that is going to go wider than the other decks in the battlefield, then why do you need to go over them too? But there is bonus to it.
Yes, and this is kind of a middle ground go wide. Like this is not the deck that can go the widest. It will have a medium wide amount of creatures. So I personally would like to have some extra evasion in it to make sure I get that damage through.
This card's gonna be solid in this deck. I haven't gotten to test or see this in Commander much, but it really does make a lot very easily, and I'm interested to see how it plays because I have not gotten to see this card, and it does. It's one of those like now this was a limited card. Ooh. I played a game where they played 3 of these, and I was like, is this real? How are we playing limited right now? You have 3 Warden of the Grove. All right, I'm dead. I obviously lost that game.
God. Yeah.
You built a solid deck here. The biggest takeaway that I will say again, because I would go super in on the creatures, or there's a potential another route. You could play token makers that make large amounts of token. That's the other way to go. But I am in on the go more creatures. I mean, to be fair, if somebody sends me a deck and I can say put more creatures in, I will tell you to put more creatures
right.
in.
Yeah. Sub out one of these effects for Grand Crescendo.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes. Grand Crescendo. Yeah. So I would play a Chroma's Will, Duty, and Grand Crescendo if I'm going to play it. And then see what, like, with Beyond Duty and Grand Crescendo, now we basically only have one slot that's actually dedicated. No, none of them. None of our slots are just dedicated, which I think makes it better. You have a Chroma's Will, Grand Crescendo, and Duty, and you cut the other three. Now you don't have to dedicate to a saving spot, and you get other effects with it. I love that way more. It's so tough for me to be like, don't play Flawless Move because it sounds like stupidly good. But it's like, I value synergy and fun deck building more than anything, and I feel like the Grand Crescendo adds both of those things.
Yes.
All right,
cool. I'm really happy to get to go over like a Felithar deck because I think this is like an underrated gem from the set that people will over time learn is super busted.
What's next?
Oh. This is very unique. All right, so this is submitted by Targg. It is the Motherlode Excavator from Fallout.
Yeah, give this one a read.
Okay.
You're welcome for the feedback.
For 5 mana, you get a 5/5. When it enters, you choose an opponent. You get energy equal to the number of non-basics they control. Then when it attacks, you can pay 4 energy and destroy a non-basic land they control and make it so none of their creatures can block unless they have flying.
This is funny to me. It is because it is on the commander and it is repeatable land, but it is not mass land destruction. So this is like the only one of the few acceptable power level 2 land destruction cards that exist that people aren't going to get mad at all, which is just very well, okay.
That's funny. Okay.
People are going to get mad. You're right.
People certainly are going to get mad. Is it totally fine for that power level? Like, I agree with you. I think it absolutely is. But I think I think people will still be mad because people are dumb. And they are just going to blindly go, oh, but land destruction, you are doing mean thing, unacceptable, must get rid of. And I'll address that a little bit more later after we've gone over the deck. But yes, I think that is the thing to keep in mind is people are not going to be happy with you, even though this is a totally fair thing to do.
So I want to give a nice compliment to this deck builder. First thing this has to go because this is a perfect 2. This deck is a perfect 2. It is built with a ton of synergy, and this deck values playing cards that do energy things over cards that are more powerful. It is incredibly well built. It has almost everything it needs. I do have some suggestions here still, but I think this is the perfect 2. Just cut gamble. So because like this deck will not compete well with 3s. Because of that. So adding gamble just puts you in a weird spot where you have to tell people you're playing technically a 3 that plays like a 2. So yeah, gamble is just the easy cut here. But I was super satisfied when I looked at this deck. A lot of the cards when I was looking for cards, it's like you already had it, and that makes me very happy to see.
Also, I even have a replacement for you for gamble. Use Reckless Handling. That is a 2 mana tutor that can only search for artifacts and is then discard a card at random, but not a game changer. But it still searches for most of the cards in this deck. A bunch of your creatures are artifacts, and you're also running 23 artifacts. Like you get about the same thing without having to go. But it has 1 game changer. But
yeah, very true. What was the land count in this deck? I would add a couple lands to this deck. Just go up to I just like starting at a base of 38 in this deck. Feels like it wants to go up to it. 36 is like, I just think you need a really low curve. Let's see, what is the exact curve? Where does it say? It's actually lower than I thought. But wait, this is the real one. This is the fake number they trick you with. 3.3. I would play 38, 37 lands.
Yeah.
So add a couple of lands to be more consistent.
Even if they're the MDFCs, because I don't think those were in this.
Yeah. 2 cuts, real easy, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to make your commander unblockable.
Yeah. Wait. Okay, hold on. Before you get to cuts, we should do this in a way that makes sense.
Okay.
First, let's go over the deck.
Okay.
Because this is a very unique commander. I've never seen anybody play this as a commander, and I don't think people are just going to intuitively know what this deck wants to do. Let's go over the deck first, and then we'll be like, all right, here's how we would adjust.
This deck is a legit energy deck.
Yes.
It is built 100% to do the energy thing. This deck wants to every single turn it can attack with its commander, pay that 4 energy, have that 4 energy, blow up a land, and get through with its commander because nothing can block it. That is what this deck wants to do, and this deck is committed to it with every single energy thing you can imagine. Something like this is a very bad card. This is a themed 2 deck. Perfect.
Yes.
Keep this in. I did not put this on my cuts because this is what I like. This deck is built in such a way that, yes, play these bad cards, be this deck, and then play things like this. Because all of your things on turn make energy,
right?
Make a token copy of it and make energy. And then sometimes you go silly, you pay the 9 mana and you get 20 energy.
Right. I think this is actually really smartly built because you have to run pretty much every red card that can make energy to have just enough to make this theme work. And then figuring out these use Ortheon, use Feldon to be able to get additional copies of these things, use Jaxus to be able to continue to create energy is like there are not many ways you could have done this, but a lot of people I don't think would have found the way to make this work.
What's really interesting that you say that. After looking at this deck, I think there is a lot you could cut if you weren't being a very thematic deck, which this is.
Oh yes.
It's just funny to me because it's like your statement sounded like, oh yeah, you need to play everyone to make this work. But it's like you just weirdly a lot of this, way more than I would have thought before looking at this deck. But there is actually just so much mono red energy cards.
Really? Because I also ran the numbers, and I could only get a handful of things that I thought were like pretty bad rates on the energy, like some artifacts and stuff.
There's so much. It's just everywhere. That's how I felt about it. I just feel like it's literally everywhere in this deck, and like that you could definitely start like these cards if you want to boost power can be cut. Like they can be removed, and you can still reliably make it, especially because you can replace things with this with ways to do this again. And when every time you play this, that's the most energy you're gonna get. I mean,
yeah.
All you need is 1 3-color deck or 2-color deck at your table. Even a 2-color deck a lot of times is going to make you a ton of things. But yes, this deck is built awesomely. I could tell, obviously I'm going to help and do a deck tech, but I could tell you don't need to change a thing except for Gamble.
Yeah.
That does need to be changed because I feel this is just a 2. But this is built how I would build it for a 2. If I was going to build a 2, this is exactly what my deck would look like. And I do like that a lot. So now can we do cuts?
We still haven't really gone over the deck. We know the general idea. We got the cute let's make copies of energy things. Some of these cards are very powerful. Some of them are hot garbage because you have to play with them, but some of these are very good, so they give you some alternate options for what you want to do. We do get to run sort of one-sided board wipes because a lot of the creatures are artifacts. And then I'm trying to remember if there's anything else that I noted specifically. This is very fun.
I mean, all we want. I would never cut off. I don't think it's that good in this deck. I would never cut it. I love it. I love that synergy. That is super cool. Love me and all Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Okay. I want to talk about the thing in general though, is that we mentioned before, so this destroys a land. This is just going to tilt some players. Even if they if they took a second to be like, oh, actually, this is not bad at all.
This is an incredibly
Yeah.
fair card
Yes.
for 2s, or if you really want to make a thematic deck, it could be a 1. But this is a perfectly fair in that 2 range.
Yes.
But it does do a thing that players hate.
Yes. So that is, I think you need to compensate for in your deck building. And I touched on this deck a little bit, but Joe focused a little bit more on this one. So let me see what you've got, and then if you have not addressed what I was thinking for it, then
I don't think I am. Let's see. What was I gonna? I mean, my first thing, like when I was talking about like cuts, this is the most weird card in this deck to me. Our commander is going to, like, it's the thing we want to push through. It's what you would use this on. It already does that by itself, and you just don't need this or Rogue's Passage. Like this deck just doesn't want these cards. These feel incredibly out of place because your commander already says I'm going to make myself unblockable by just having 4 mana. I also you also have things like Faithless Looting. This deck isn't a Faithless Looting deck. This is card disadvantage, and that is important to remember with this kind of thing. So you just do not want to be playing in losing a card to Faithless Looting, because we're not graveyard centric at all. So it's just you need to turn this into, even if you want a very simple improvement that is not even like that good, you can play the 2 mana Impulse Draw 2 like Ren's Resolve. Like, I'm not saying that card is like ideal, but that is card advantage, which is what this slot should be, instead of being the card disadvantage.
I think it's interesting that because this was like some discourse a while ago, but I think enough time has passed that it has kind of gone out of commander players' minds that Faithless Looting is not it should not be a staple. It is, you should only be playing this in decks that synergize with what the card does.
You know what's really interesting about you saying that? That's been my thought on this card since I started playing Commander.
Yeah, yes, but there was for a while it was just like, oh, I'm playing red, of course I play Faithless Looting, and then I want to say it was maybe like Rachel Weeks or somebody that was, you know, a big figure in Commander made it very clear, like, hey, you should not be playing this. You should not be putting this in every red deck. It's card disadvantage again. Like, same thing that you said. It should be only be played in decks that it synergizes with, and woke a lot of people up to it. But I think I've seen it kind of circle back around, because that statement was made like years ago. But yes, I'm with you. This should be cut and replaced.
I wish I could hear the notifications, but thank you. I see there was a gifted sub. Thank you, and 2 follows. Thank you both. Black Hole Beauty, Broach, thanks for follow, and I fell asleep on my keyboard. Thank you for the gifted sub. But yeah, I don't know why we're not hearing anything, or for that. Maybe it's off because we're recording.
I don't know.
Your name will. I will.
Oh, that's HD.
I know it's HD. I'm gonna forever call him fell asleep on my keyboard. I will not. I refuse to call you HD unless you want me to call you HD. Then I will, but because I respect people. But that said, I fell asleep on my keyboard, if that's acceptable. Where else were we here? What's Scrapper Champion? Where is that? Where is Scrapper Champion? It sounds like a creature.
I guess I'm like, that's bad if I don't know the name of it.
Oh, okay. This guy, like, we were saying, if we're staying on the 2 and we want all these play them, this one's real bad. Like, this is this is the start of the cuts here. Do not play the same thing with this man here. These 2 cards just are not. They're real terrible. I'm not saying you have to cut any of these, but like, there are some. These are like, if we're starting at the energy cuts, these cards are awful. Like, awful cards. Same. I think this card's same. Like, Thrive, but at least this gives you 3 energy. It's a little more, and it becomes better. The Flicker, the 2 mana for 4, or 4 mana for 2. No, thank you. No, they're just so bad. But like I said, I didn't have many cuts because I really do believe you built a good thing. Another thing you can do besides these copy guys here, Conjurer's Closet, for bouncing your commander. I think we want to redo the commander over and over again, and doing it on end step rather than, and doing it on end step means that we get to attack with it and then do it again. Maybe Twitch doesn't want your money. But I want to flicker this to stick with the theme of this thing cares about non-basics. So I would add both Sun Spine Links, which deals damage equal to the number of non-basics, and Price of Progress. Both just cards I would throw into this deck because they fit, they're thematic to what the deck is doing. You have already, the commander has those words and cares about non-basic. What? You don't like it?
No, you're killing their non-basics.
You're not killing them all. You're always going to be...
But you're also not doing anything to give them more non-basic lands.
You don't need to not... I don't think... You're right, you are lowering the number. I still like the cards in the deck, I think. I feel like... no. I like them.
I think they are. Cards say more. Must be synergy. They don't synergize at all.
You know what I think? You're wrong. And those cards are cool in this deck because they deal damage equal to non-basic, and it's just another thing that cares about non-basics. I don't care what Veggie thinks.
We're not, but we don't do anything. We don't do anything to make those cards better.
I like them though. Well, the thing we do actually is we have a mana base that isn't hurt by them as much, making those cards much better. I honestly, so an honest take on Price of Progress, underplayed card. Incredibly, like, there is almost no burn spell I will ever suggest for Commander, except Price of Progress. That card is a legit burn spell that is a real finisher. And I honestly believe that. And this deck can just play it because it does have... even though we are blowing up their non-basics, the number will still be high enough. I honestly believe that. Maybe not the Sphinx in that case, because I understand what you're saying. But Price of Progress, true underplayed card in Commander that is really good and just deserves more play.
Especially when you're playing a deck that blows up your opponent's non-basic lands.
even so. I think if your deck plays a high amount of basics and you're in red, you can consider Price of Progress. Like you should it should come into your mind. It should be more like Faithless Looting. we should put it at the staple spot for no reason. This deck wants MDFCs. We're mono red. All 3 of the red MDFCs that enter untapped by paying life. Yes. I mean, I know we're going against kind of what I was just saying, which is that we do play a lot of basics, but even in the case, like, you can just cut a Myriad Landscape, not that great of a card for this deck. In like Baraduin's just okay in this deck, but the MDFCs are just better than these cards because they are free spells, free lands. I mean, when you build one color decks, the honest thing is there are, in every one color, there is 3 untapped MDFCs that should almost be auto-includes in your deck. And this deck has none of them. I would just throw them in, especially because one destroys a non-basic. One just literally says destroy a non-basic.
Right, and that helps us to set up our Price of Progress.
And Veggie never let it go from that day forward. What does Dingus Egg do? I can't remember.
Is that land ETB controller takes 2?
It's something funny. It's synergistic, if I remember correctly. It's a dumb card and it's not good, but it fits.
Land put into a graveyard.
It's not
2
good.
damage.
Let me be clear. This is not good suggestion. This is fun level 2 suggestion, where I just think it fits your little theme you got going on here, which is your guy blowing up lands. Why not add extra gem? This isn't good. Don't disguise me suggesting Dingus Egg as like this will upgrade your deck. No, this will make the deck fit in that too, and I dislike it. What are you laughing at?
I think this is even too far for me.
Oh, it's too far?
I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah, and you get to say Dingus Egg.
That I think is the biggest upside. Is that you get to say Dingus Egg. I'm like, this doesn't do enough to make me happy, even though it synergizes.
It did make me happy.
Then it is worth it for your deck.
Yeah. Another way.
I'm just gonna hate on every single suggestion.
Another way to copy for your commander and do it again and get more energy. Blade of Selves. You won't get the extra attack trigger. That won't happen. But just the re-entry of your commander to get all that energy. This deck wants all that energy.
Right, yeah, two more ETBs of it every time you attack seems real good.
3 or 2. No, 2. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought 3. Fable the Mirror Breaker is one of the best of the copiers. Oh, he can't copy.
Yeah.
Never mind. Fable the Mirror Breaker bad in this deck.
I mean, it can copy your other energy makers.
It can. I mean, that card's actually like better Faithless Looting, funnily enough, especially for this deck. It just has the card just does way more things and has actual synergy with the deck. So
yeah, actually, everybody that's playing Faithless Looting, unless your deck synergizes with it, replace it with Fable the Mirror Breaker.
That's legit. Yeah, like that is a real upgrade. Fable the Mirror Breaker is a real messed up card.
Yeah.
Yes, this was MTG Nerd Girl. And this is confusing, I know, because MTG Nerd Girl is not here. So this is now decked out EDH stream.
Yes, you will still see much of Nerd Girl, but today it's us.
Yes, today it is 2 dingus eggs doing their best thing. But overall, to reiterate what I said at the beginning, you built a very awesome 2, and I love this deck. I would, if I was given this deck to play on decked out, like say we had picked it, I would have been very happy.
Okay, so here's what I have to say about this. I think you would have been happy to take this deck and sit down with it, and I think you would have been very unhappy, specifically playing this on decked out.
Why is that?
Because this is Mean Thing.
Oh, you're right.
This is Mean Thing, and
it's not good for content.
No. I also think this is good for content. Here is the problem. This is Mean Thing that players will go, I do not want the chance of you doing this thing to me. I will kill it. And they will wrongly threat assess. And or even if they correctly threat assess, they're like, okay, I'd also like to not have you send your whole board at me. This will just get removed over and over and over again. Red has the solution. There are no redirect effects in this.
I don't think so. Yeah, you could add in your good old timely malfunction.
Yeah, I would jam all of them into this. Untimely malfunction is just a good card, because of the utility from it. You can destroy an artifact, always useful. Change a target of something, so you can redirect that removal. And then the last one, not quite as important, but
Mattman coming in with a hot take in chat. Land destruction stats are a legitimate strategy. Stop being crybabies, EDH players. There is a real legitimate discussion about that, and it will come up on the podcast that we are doing. So, which talks about it's actually very interesting.
Yeah. Also, great for Bolt Bend, because you're always the thing that you want to keep safe has power 4 or greater, so this will always be a 1 mana redirect. Yes, I think you should have those available. Also, this one does double duty. This is one of my favorite little tech pieces.
I actually don't know where we're going here.
Voyager Staff, baby. Give blink to any color. So you just drop this on board and you say, great, do you want to waste a removal spell on this just for me to be able to get my ETB again? Go for it.
There's also a legitimate fun thing that I would add to this deck that is not good. Just Stuffy Doll.
Stuffy Doll?
These 2 cards, specifically.
Oh, because
you can build so much energy in this deck, and then you can turn it into a face. That is not good. I am a Stuffy Doll. I love that card, and it would be such a cool way to win. And
I'm much more on board with that. I'm just trying to think. Is there, because two to me is not quite enough. Probably I think it's enough for a 2 for me to be like, hey, the chance that I get to do this.
There's a real card. There's an actual playable card. What am I saying? Brash Taunter is a playable card. That card. I'm not saying that's a playable version of Stuffy Doll. Yeah, play Brash Taunter in this deck to do that fun thing, because that's it's slightly off brand for the deck, but there's also this really cool synergy that one of these times you're just gonna get to do it and absolutely blow them out. And yes, love it. And if you don't know, Stuffy Doll is one of my favorite cards of all time. I had a binder that got stolen, sadly,
Oh.
out of my car, filled with stuffy dolls. It probably had like 50 in it.
That's why they stole it.
Well, that human that stole it tried to sell my stuff and just...
Oh, I guess like it's pretty obvious when somebody drops off a binder full of stuffy
Well, they
dolls.
didn't. They didn't bring the stuffy dolls. I think because they knew that was obvious. But don't worry, they left my EDH, my commander deck at the time, in the same sleeves. And
Jeez.
And I'll just tell my quick story before I move on. My story with this is always the reason I absolutely 100% knew that it was my stolen deck from my car is it had the card Stolen Goods in it. A card nobody plays except me, and I
also super ironic.
Exactly, and that I will forever love Stolen Goods for that reason. I will always be one of my memories. Love it's so funny. Yes, Stolen Goods was allowed me to identify the stolen goods as mine. I gave that I was nice to that kid who brought that deck back. I said, I'll give you $10 and you can leave, or I'll give you nothing and I'll call the cops and we'll get him here. And he going, this is bullshit. I'm like, oh, you idiots. You stole this. I know you stole this because it's mine. Anything else for this deck?
Yes. If we're leaning into theme here, I would have to run Hit the Motherload. It does not synergize with the deck at all. However, it is the only other card in the game that says Motherload on it. Like that to me makes me happy.
Yeah. I found it funny when I searched this card. I typed in Motherload and 2 cards came up. I'm like, what? Wait, second Motherload? Yeah, I agree with you. Play Hit the Motherload.
Right.
Mean, it also makes a ton of artifacts, which this deck does have some synergy with. Not a crap ton, but some.
Yeah, it does a perfectly reasonable and usable thing. The other doubler that I was thinking that would be fun with this is Delina. Because it's an attack trigger, and that's very safe since you're making an opponent not be able to block. And then you might just roll well and get a bunch of Motherload triggers.
Rob said, what about Fodder Load? Call back. Good. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's what
Fodder Load is a lot grosser, I will say.
All right, great. So this is a fun deck. Thanks, Targg, and I think this is the first time that this person has done a deck tech with us. So don't forget.
Appreciate the support.
For those of you who are watching the stream or watching on YouTube, that you can get your own deck techs with us, either by going down to support Ko-fi. I believe that will be online starting next month, or by becoming patron. Easy as that. All the details should be available on Patreon. Also, if you're just enjoying what we're doing and you would like to support us, you can head to Patreon or Ko-fi and help to get us a new PC, which will be very important for all the new content we're making.
Yes, and as mentioned, Ko-fi will... Did you mention that Ko-fi will have...
Deck tech?
Searchable deck tech?
Yes, you can just go, I would like one deck tech, click button.
You started talking and I zoned out.
Mm-hmm.
I realized I heard nothing you said afterward. Hey, look it. Thanks. Fall asleep on keyboard.
Yeah.
Fall asleep on keyboard.
Okay, next deck.
Oh, yes, Doctor Who's another one of those sets I haven't looked at. This card's cool. This card is so cool. When a card makes me go to Scryfall and search for specific things, that's when I know it's interesting. Or for me, at least.
Yes.
Because this was like, how do we make our opponents each lose 3 life? Let's find all the silly ways we can do it.
Yes. All right. So this is a Davros Dalek creator list submitted by Gscarim. So it's a villain. So of course it must be Grixis. Those are the only colors villain can be. It's a 3/4 for 4 mana with Menace. At the beginning of your end step, make a 3/3 black Dalek artifact creature token with Menace. If an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, then each opponent that lost 3 or more life this turn faces a villainous choice. Either we get to draw a card or they discard a card.
This is first thing, as Veggie points out all the time for Doctor Who, amazing card design. This is an amazing card design. It is cool. It does a specific thing. It is strong on top of that, while not being broken. And that is, in hitting those home runs is tough, but this is a home run card for design.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I will tell you all now, even if Doctor Who is not your thing, it is very worth looking into the cards because they are exactly the kind of commander that I want to play. I am not a Doctor Who super fan. I have seen the show and enjoyed it, but even if I don't know what the card is referencing at all, some of these cards are so much fun, so interesting. You are probably missing out if you have ignored the set completely.
Yeah. This card, this deck is solid to start. Like, just I like pointing out and giving people credit. This was a card that I did have on my ads because I didn't see it at first. But if a deck makes something like this playable, that makes me so happy.
It makes a card like this good.
Yes! That's so real. It's like, now all you need is 5 mana, play your commander, play Bolt Wave. Oh my god, that's so cool. And I love this. Something else on this deck's theme, you draw, but also your opponent's discard.
Yes.
So they have a choice. Now, giving your opponent his choice is a weak thing.
Yes.
Granted, these are both very, very bad things for them. They don't want either of these. But we have things like Tiny Bones, which take their choice and make it push them toward the draw. We want to draw, really.
Right.
Like, the honest truth is we want to draw.
Yes.
So we disincentivize them with things like Tiny Bones, Turgid. Yeah, I know. And I think this deck is a 3, so it makes sense to have something like that in there. And Waste Not.
Yeah.
Through this by disincentivizing them to discard, we get to draw cards, which is the choice we want them to make every time.
Yes. And to be clear, some Magic fundamentals here for Commander in particular. You drawing a card is always better than single opponent discarding a card, because there are 4 players in the game. If one of them is you and you draw a card, that puts you a card above 3 players. You have now gained an advantage over 3 players. But if one opponent discards a card, that has only put you ahead of 1 player. Ta-da!
Yes, exactly. And that is a very important thing to remember. And sometimes it's not intuitive, right, to think of right away.
Right.
It's like 1 card lost is equal to 1 card gained, right? But that's just not true in Commander. It is a big difference. But yeah, that's the theme of the deck. That's what we're doing. We want to make the first thing we have to do with this deck is make players lose 3 life. That is the key to getting everything online. If we're not doing that, we're not doing anything. But one of the good things about him, he makes 3/3s with menace that can push themselves through.
Right. So as soon as you get it rolling, it is easier and easier and easier each time to be able to make it happen more.
And then you got this perfect synergy here, which is the Cyberman, which is a card that I wanted to point out because I think it's like, what a perfect fit for this deck, because it gives everything a flick 3. There's no choice. When you attack with a Dalek, it either does 3 or does 3. And now you've taken away their ability to even stop you from doing that 3 damage, which is where you want to be. For cuts, now that we have the strategy here, I am kind of lost on why we have Bounce as some removal. Obviously this card's stupid, but like, we do have some counter spells, so I know that Bounce in the counter, but that's spending 2 cards to answer 1 card. We should just be removing stuff.
Yes. Maybe the thought here is, I have a deck that is making them discard. If they run out of cards, then this is even better. But that's maybe a stretch. I just know that me as an early Magic player had built some decks like this where I'm like, there's like one that's like bounce and make them discard, and I just thought that was the best thing. If I can get them to run out of cards, then they have to bounce and discard their thing. Ooh,
the 6 mana guy.
No.
The creature does it. There's a 6 mana 4/4 that enters, bounce a creature, they discard.
Oh, well, when was it printed?
I don't know.
Because I'm thinking like an invasion, like common. like from when I first started playing Magic. Period.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I don't know much Invasion. I must say.
But yeah, go ahead.
I think there. This is a card I will talk about a lot in deck text. Like as we, I am. If you do not want haste, I do not think you want boots. I think that is my general take. I think.
Do you want Greaves though?
Or Greaves, boots or Greaves.
Yeah.
I don't want either of these effects if I do not want haste, and this commander doesn't really care about haste. So I immediately would cut these cards, and if you feel you need to protect your commander, add an extra counterspell. That's how I would compensate for losing this. These cards are, I think, some of the most overplayed commander cards. They're good, don't get me wrong, and there are cases where you don't have haste, like very vulnerable commanders that are very hard to protect. But this isn't one of them. It only costs 4. Casting for 6 isn't too crazy,
right? And I also I like running these more in colors that struggle to protect the commander more, but in blue you have counterspells, in red you have redirect, and those effects are already in this deck.
Also, we're missing. This just annoyed me personally. Where is Talisman of Creativity? you have all 3 signets. Cool. You have 2 talismans, and then there's just this slot. This right here in between here is supposed to be a Talisman of Creativity. It's just not here. I don't know why it's not here, and it absolutely breaks my brain. I legitimately, it does not matter if my deck is, say my deck was meant to only play these 2, like logically. Like there is situations where that is true, and this could be true. I don't think it is, but it could be true. I can't do it. It'll never happen. I am either playing all the talismans I can play, or none of them. I refuse to do the in between. It will break my heart. Especially because you can cut this card. What's this? Got garbage. This card is very bad. This card is very, very bad. We have the genuinely 3 mana tap for 1 mana. Almost every one of them is not a playable card anymore. I don't think you should be playing. Like, I'm not a Chromatic Lantern fan or anything. Like, there's not many of them. I think there is some, like, so we can just go right here and see. There is exceptions to the rule, but it needs to do something very powerful, which this does. Let's see, where was I? Okay. I think you went a little. So I mentioned I really like things like Waste Not, but I think you went too far with things like Megrim. This doesn't disincentivize them enough, and it won't matter as a card. So this becomes a 3 mana, not having a real impact on the game. And
yeah. Also, there's just a straight up better version of this card.
The Lana's Caress, but I also wouldn't play that.
Right.
Which one is this? I had this as cut. Whenever a player you control deals combat. Oh yeah, I don't like this either. I don't think we want to go more on discard. I think the point of the discard synergies for the deck is to incentivize them to discard, not to be a discard deck.
Yes. Also, by the way, something that is relevant to know, for the villainous choice mechanic, you can choose an option that you are not able to perform. So if even if like you go larceny, great. I made this player discard their hand. Now they're gonna have to let me draw a card. They can go, I will choose discard a card. Blah. Nothing happens.
The sound effect got me. Like the sound of not discarding a card is wah.
Yes, because it is part of the spell, like determining the spell itself, not a result of the spell. So it's just weird that your opponent chooses it, but they can choose for your spell to say make them discard a card, and at that point it's just like any other discard spell that you target a player with no cards. They just go and nothing happens.
Yes, I just want to say welcome in the chat. I see a first time chatter. Azra, welcome in. I gotta say hi to the first time chatters. Welcome to the stream. We appreciate you stopping by and sending. Is really hard for me to tell what that is because it's so tiny. What is that? What is that emoji?
Oh, little lady. I don't know.
Little lady. Thanks for sending a little lady. We love little ladies here. Where else was I? Card I love. Nezal. Love Nezal. There's no synergy. I feel like if you're playing a Stompy deck or you want something, this deck is not a reanimated deck. I feel like even though card not fit deck. So I'm just like, I am a Nezahal lover. I will throw it in random decks. no synergy at all here. What else? Oh yeah, there was also, where is he? Where'd he go? This mother. I thought it was in the deck. I don't see it.
What?
Oh, it's right here. It's this one. Rottenmouth Viper. I don't think this fits at all either. It's just doing something the deck isn't interested in doing, really. I get that it says lose 4 life, and I see that, but I just feel like this is like way off from where the deck is trying to go. Like, this fits more in like you want sacrifice synergies and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's yeah. You don't have anything here that you really want to sacrifice for it. I'd rather have the Daleks, and that's probably the most disposable thing that you have. And I don't want to pay 6 mana for this.
Yeah, completely agree. Was there any more cuts here? I mean, until you hit power level 4, I genuinely believe we should avoid Dark Ritual. I don't think but there is an argument for this deck. I want to point out the good side of it. Mm-hmm. Our commander provides such good card advantage that could be worth putting this out. Mm-hmm. That said, I tend to just steer away from this and not want to 2-for-1 myself to get out a creature quicker. That might just be preference, though. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's totally preference.
Fair.
Like, this seems just like a fun commander thing. Sure, you're taking a risk to be able to do stronger thing faster.
That's fair. I mean, I think that's completely fair. What deck are you guys on?
We have
Drana and the building.
Yes, we have 3 things left. We're on the 5th thing.
Mm-hmm. But I think we are approaching. Well, I haven't done the ads, but after the ads, we'll be done with this one. So, yeah, things are going smooth here. Some ads. If you want to stick with bounce, an actual good bounce spell, I think, is Mystic Confluence here, where you get choices. You get to bounce, you get to counter, and you get to, what is the other thing? I am completely forgetting what's the third draw card. I couldn't remember the third Mystic Confluence. I also suggest Fiery Confluence for this deck because you can choose to blow up an artifact or you can choose whatever for the other modes, but if you choose 2 on the deal 2 to everyone, you have activated your commander, and this is a versatile spell that doesn't just deal direct damage. It's important to with your burn spells, like when they're super efficient, they can just be the burn spell, right? But if they're not super efficient, you need versatility, or else you're just gonna have a lot of bad spells in your deck. So the versatility that comes with something like Fiery Confluence is perfect for this deck. Let's see. Oh, Maestro's Charm. I actually don't know what this card completely does, but I know it fits you. So Maestro's Charm.
Okay.
Let's just make each opponent lose 3 life, and we gain 3 life. But as I mentioned before, we get versatility. This can be a removal spell. This can be a bad draw spell. Mm-hmm. But because it has versatility, you can afford to play the burn spell because when the burn spell's good, you just do the burn spell. But oh no, I'm in a situation where my commander's been removed twice. Mm-hmm. I'm not stuck with a dead card now. I can just go, okay, let me find the best card in the top 5. Let me remove this other threat. And versatility is so important in Commander, and it's so important for cards. Like, it really improves the power of cards. Like, how unplayable is this if it's 3 mana only deal 3 to each? Like, unplayable garbage. Don't no giggling over there. Mm. I also think we can put funny card name: Kill, Maim, Burn.
Mm.
This only hits target player, but it gets you a 3-for-1 at instant speed. You destroy an artifact, you destroy a creature, you get to deal, or not 3-for-1, you get to deal a 3. Now, you want to do this during your turn, so it's not going to be an instant as much, but it also has the versatility of being an instant. Though you're going to mostly cast it during your turn, again, you don't have your commander out, pass, and then you get to decide at the end what you want to kill. Another just solid, this card is like solid 2-for-1 for 5 mana, and then it just says 3 at the end for no reason,
right?
Which works with our deck.
Yeah.
I like the new card, which gives us a second end step. What is her name?
Stola.
Yeah, I mean, making them face the villainous choice twice is real strong in this deck. And though this doesn't have a ton of other synergies in the deck, it's such a cool card. I'm not going to say this is the best card for the deck because I think when we don't have our commander, this card is real bad. But that said, it's such a cool, awesome card. Also, you want to know the dumbest thing you can do?
What?
So if we leave Neza Hall, we can discard 3 cards, exile, that comes back at our end step. Then it comes back, we exile 3 cards, put it away, and it comes back at our next end step.
I support this, but if we're mainly using this so that we get an additional trigger of Davros, couldn't we just play like a thing that gives us let's just copy the trigger?
You're right. Yeah, I mean, I was looking for cool cards, and I wasn't like to me. I've fallen into thinking that those trigger copiers are a little lame because I've seen them so much.
Mm-hmm.
That said, yeah, it's better. Yeah, what I can't even think of what they're called. Rings of Brighthearth.
Well, yeah, rings or
go.
But
yes,
this card was spoiled recently.
Oh yes. How many cards can you draw on your end step? Because you have to discard half of them because they're just going to be a million.
Yeah, this is pay 2 per Davros trigger that you want.
Yeah, Go is awesome. Yeah, this is another card where I'll just say peak card design. Can do silly over the top things is absolutely not broken. Love, and that is such a hard place to get with card design. So I clap it for the designers of these cards. Wizards legitimately has very talented people working for them. As much as I will, was the term take a piss out of or take a what out of?
I don't know.
As much as I will go ham on Hasbro as a company, I will applaud the workers of Wizards of the Coast for their amazing work with this game because they are the reasons this game is still good. Like legitimately, everyone designing cards over there. Thank you guys. Like honestly, like real honesty. Like I could not appreciate you anymore. Do I have any more ads or cuts before we move on? No, not really. I mean, I think what's pain magnification.
This is a pet card that I'm like I think this works here. It's still probably not worth it. When an opponent is dealt 3 or more damage by a single source, they discard a card.
No, I actually think this is worth it. I would play this, especially one. It is do fun thing that you like, and I agree. I think this is if we want to do more discard, this is the way to go. We already are trying to do this 3 over and over and over again. I also like this is a bad card, Unlicensed Disintegration.
Oh yeah.
It is a bad card. I am not. This is another one where it's like, yeah, I think that's it.
Wait, did you click?
Yeah.
Oh, did it go in?
I tried to click it. Oh, there it is, yeah. Yeah, Unlicensed Disintegration. Destroy target creature. I have already talked about how this rate at 3 is bad. Deal 3 to its creature control. If you control artifact. We will always control artifact in this deck. This card, not good. Synergy, I'm in. I love... This is just like Kill Main Burn, but this is bad. But honestly, I would play it. I would play it in this deck in any build that I would do personally. So I would suggest it.
Yeah.
All right. Any last comments about this deck?
I don't think so.
I love this card. You're gonna have a ton of.
You pointed at the screen, so I don't know.
Oh, the card that's up. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You just happen to go on it. There's not many decks that get to play this card because Menace isn't a strategy yet. Eventually, it will be. Everything becomes a strategy in Commander. But yeah, whenever they block a Menace creature, they have to sacrifice one of the blockers. I just like this card a lot. It disincentivizes the blocking so that the Dalek can get through and deal the damage. Cool card. Really, really cool card that I am a big fan of, like, in this deck.
Yes. My last thought is, so this is thanks Thanks, Moxfield. This is a bracket 3. Do you think this is a bracket 3?
I mean, it's a bracket 3 for the game changers. It's if I would want to play this in 2, but I want to. I to be fair, I think with a little bit of working, this can be a 3. So I think it's not a. I right now with the current build we have, I cut the game changers and go to 2.
Yes.
But I think it's close to pushing to a 3 that I could see going that way. Thank you so much for the follow, Venser. Welcome into the stream.
Yeah. That is where I'm at as well. I don't think that the game changers in this deck do anything for the deck.
Yes.
Turgid has some synergy because you are giving them the option to discard.
It's a disincentivizer. Yeah.
Right. However, all it's going to do is make people kill you because you've played a card that they've heard is really scary, even though your deck does not really capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And they can just be like, okay, draw a card. Like it does this doesn't do anything for it. Narset does not do anything for this deck. And Psych Rift does not do anything for this deck. Like it is just the only thing is that Psych Rift is generically powerful card. I would cut all of these. I think every single bit of what you've done with this deck is a 2, and that is not a knock to the deck building. I think it's a really well built for what you do in bracket 2. I think you would need a lot of changes to make it a bracket 3 that like you feel satisfied with still doing this thing.
Type in season, whatever the season, the blue one of weaving.
Yeah.
Honest take here. If you want to be a 2 and you need a Cyclonic Rift effect, it's a sorcery. Yeah. Season of Weaving. I'm gonna make a short about this card eventually and talk about how underrated this is. This card's a gem. This card is under the radar, underplayed in Commander, absolutely. And you get the bounce, obviously not at instant speed. But you get the bounce, and then you get other effects. You can draw 2 cards, bounce. Everything is real strong. Or keep around your commander. What about a copy of your commander? Okay, sounds pretty awesome. I didn't have to. I absolutely I adore this card, and I think it is the easy. I don't want to play a game changer. Play this instead. This card is awesome.
Yes. All right. Wait. I'm gonna head this off because you're reading the message right now. So I see the disagreement for rankings for brackets in general. We will have a whole discussion on that. But we are going into this with the assumption that that people are using the brackets and just making notes on where they sit according to that system. I think it is a misconception that bracket 2 is specifically only precon. If it is not exactly precon, then it must not be bracket 2. But that is a whole different conversation that we will have at some point.
Yeah. I will say I think my personal feeling, just before we move on, the one little thing is that precon is the bottom of bracket 2 is how I feel. So, and there is a lot above it that is also in bracket 2.
Okay. I think I don't remember what the pain magnification. That's the other one. Yeah, this is cool. This is a great idea. I think well executed.
My issue with doing these streams is they make me interested in so many commanders. Like I think they're out of the ones we've done. I'm like 3. I'm like I could build that. I would like that if I built that. But I get to live vicariously through you guys. So, what is next? Ooh, this card is weird to me. So yes, Tumnus, your deck, Drana in Limvala. You're looking for general feedback in this deck. The theme the weird theme it seems like in this deck that they tried to go with is bounty counters. I know, like extremely niche. There's like 5 cards in Magic that do it at all.
Okay.
And
some of them you can't run in these colors.
Yeah, and playing my opponent's stuff in weird, fun ways. Now, so here's like a bounty card break.
Hold on. Let's do the. You like to jump immediately.
So
we gotta talk to we gotta get the people on track here.
So funny. I think you don't even have to read this commander. We will. This deck, she does not matter at all.
But we need
I
the
agree.
context.
No,
we
I
need to
agree.
know that she doesn't do anything with the deck,
I
but we have to
agree.
know what they do first.
Let me jump. Let me go in.
Yes. Yeah. Drana and Linvala. This is 4 mana for 3/4 flying vigilance. You cancel all activated abilities of your opponent's creatures. They just cannot activate them. But Drana and Linvala gains all activated abilities from your opponent's creatures, and it you can spend mana as though it's any color to activate those abilities. So you say, great, all your creature activated abilities, they don't work, and they're now all compounded into this one creature.
Let me stop you just for 1 second, just so I can tell. NY, whatever. Nice guy. Nice guy. Okay. Yeah, that took me way too long to find. Nice guy. We'll tell you. We are going to be doing these weekly starting in June. And
yes, deck text will be every Wednesday starting in June.
Yeah, and they will be the beginning of stream, so we'll be starting them at 2:00 on Wednesdays, and you can come and do the Ko-fi in order to get your deck done on stream.
Yes. So if you want to be like, let me jump onto this deck tech kind of thing as soon as possible, then head to our Patreon.
Yes.
If we will also be doing them as like, one of whenever you want them, with the link down below for Ko-fi, and that will start next month.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes we just need to do a little bit of advertising for ourselves. Or what is it? It's a plug. Sometimes you just got to throw a plug in there. And also, thanks again to HD.
Yeah.
Who I already got tired of saying the fake name I made up. So I'm just to HD already.
You mean head to window Hexton on W.
But yes, so honestly, Drana and Linvala is not really super important to this deck. It's not what this deck is built around. It's just kind of a hate piece. And funnily enough, when you look on EDH Rec at this card, this is a Stacks commander.
Yes.
This is the immediate thing that people think to do with it. This is not a Stacks deck. This is definitely a 2. Do some silly things. Like Bounty Hunter, put a bounty counter on a target creature, and then you can destroy it. You can also, you can only put them on non-black creatures, but we have other cards. Is this one of them? No, this is just one of those weird steel cards. It's such a weird...
I don't know this card. Put the top creature of defending player's graveyard into play under your control. It deals no combat damage this turn, uses only ability if it's attacking and unblocked once per turn. Okay, so yeah, weird, cool.
Yeah, that is one of my favorite things about the deck. It picks weird cards. Like it takes this weird card that it just does bounty counters. It just puts more bounty counters on a planeswalker's creatures, and whenever a creature or a planeswalker and an opponent controls the bounty counter on it is dealt damage, destroy it. We don't even have a way to do that. But I didn't cut these cards from this deck because it is clear to me this deck wants to do bounty counters, and that is the.
Okay, no, I continue. This is me trying to process. All right, is there like some other brilliant thing that's happening here?
Going over to the fun steel cards, we have things like Preacher, which we tap it and they give us one of their creatures, and then we can choose not to untap it to keep the creature, or we can untap it and try and steal something else. Preacher is just it's one of those cards I have found it's janky. It's not that good, but if you played around this time, you love it. Is what I have seem to have taken out of Preacher, and it is a cool card. It is a color pie breaker in that is not what white traditionally does,
and that's a decent rate for that.
It is a decent rate. It's better to combine with Sack Outlet, which our deck doesn't really do, but it is a fun card. Actual cool thing with this deck that actually synergizes with our commander is Yes Man. Yes Man. You tap him, give him away, draw 2 cards, and put a counter on him. And then when he dies, you get counters equal to...
You get 1/1s equal to the counters, yeah.
Yeah, equal to the counters. But Linvala prevents him from activating on his side. Now, you could give away your Linvala. I don't suggest it. That is not my suggestion of what to do with this card. If you want to kick out a game, I would suggest doing that.
The main reason that I stopped earlier was because I saw Yes Man and I was like, oh, is there some like really weird convoluted line where you give them Yes Man and then draw on Linvala, you use that ability on them for something to cancel the abilities of your own stuff? But I couldn't. I don't think that exists. I think that.
A real suggestion for this deck is with Yes Man, I would put in a Homeward Path, just a card that is kind of a free roll in a lot of, like, you can just free roll it into your deck. And then you get this cool Yes Man synergy where you give him away and bring him back, and give him away and bring him back over and over again.
Yeah, Homeward Path is just a land that you can tap to everybody regains control of the creatures that they own.
Yes, which there is awkwardness in the deck, don't get me wrong, because you do have some weird...
Right, you have other steel effects.
You have other steel effects, like Evangelize, which I think this is... If you like and love this card, keep it. This card is terrible, though. It is absolutely awful. But if you love it, keep it, obviously. And I think that is why it's in here. But I did want to point out, I think that this card specifically is very bad. This is 4 mana. Each opponent chooses a creature in their graveyard. When you give your opponent that choice, it's going to be awful. So I would just play Sepulchral Primordial. Pay 3 more mana, get a creature, and you choose what you get. Now, again, if you want your opponents to have the choice, leave this in. But if you want to have the choice, you should probably put in something that gives you the choice. Let's scroll down here. There's more fun stuff down here. First thing, I don't like the darkness stuff. I've never been a fog fan. Like, that's an easy cut for me. But again, this deck seems like a lot of I love this card. So I will always have respect for that. I do love this card.
Yes.
Not only is it a cool card, I think this card is just legit. It is a legit card that should see a bit more play. Not a lot more play, because it is very niche and will be bad in a lot of situations. That said, what an incredibly cool, awesome design, and deserves more love.
Yes. To be clear to any of you that end up trying to play with this card, it's worded a little strangely. The way that it functions is the creature must have... you target a thing that is about to die. The creature has to then die, but doesn't because you've regenerated it, and only in that instance do you gain control of the creature.
Yes, the wording on this card is absolutely incorrect, which is very funny, because the way that this card reads, if it was printed like this today,
right,
you would just gain control of the creature for 3 mana at instant speed,
yes,
which is bonkers. This card would be busted if that was the case. Like, wow. Disenchant is way below rate. We do not want to play Disenchant. I think it's bad in Commander. It's not way below rate. That's wrong. That's not true. But I think Disenchant and 2 mana Disenchant without anything else is really bad now in Commander. It has been power crept out of existence. So I think we don't play Disenchants in the deck. Let's see, what other fun cards did I come up with? I do like a little bit of stealing. Let's see.
I mean, there's like Jabari's Influence is the other one that they have in here that I would think of. That's like, here's weird gain control old card, like that's strangely specific.
Yeah, if you want to play a really good stealing card that lets you get stuff out of their graveyard too, I said Sepulchral Primordial, but Breach the Multiverse. Like, I don't know if you don't want to go that powerful, or I understand, but it's like, if we want to, it sticks to a theme, but maybe you just want these old cards specifically. It's just it feels like it fits in this deck perfectly. It has, like, Breach the Multiverse is the card you can kind of just throw in any black deck, but when it has synergy or fits with what you want to do, it's even better. Oh, another one for our board wipe slot, Necromantic Selection. We get to choose our opponent's best creature to keep onto the battlefield. It's just, again, more of what it feels like this deck wants to do. Fun things like that. Not fun things. Everyone loves when you put their commander on your side of the battlefield. You did put this in. Well, this is the card specifically that made me suggest the cards I'm suggesting. Because this card is exile all creatures, and then you can play those spending mana of any color. So this made me think, oh, okay, this deck wants to play my opponent's stuff in other ways than just the old fun cards. So this card's awesome. This card is awesome. I think it's obviously overcosted, a little rough around the edges. God, do I love it. I don't currently have a play my opponent's stuff deck. Fencer, wow, thank you so much for the 500 bits.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Hey guys, loving the YouTube channel after finding you recently. Just found out you're on Twitch too, and wanted to say keep up the great work while catching you live. Thank you so much for those kind words. My favorite part is I get to pretend like I've always been part of the channel, even though I'm literally.
I also think that was enough for it to read it out loud. So you read it out loud over top of the thing reading it out loud.
I can't hear it. If I had known, my bad. My bad.
Yeah. Well, it's back to this. Thank you very much, and that's cool. I'm glad you found us.
Thank you for the support. Yes.
I'm still trying to find. I'm still trying to understand the thought behind this. So like, there's this weird bounty counter synergy, but like, there's not enough cards to really do much with it, and I haven't seen anything that like this is the first one that it looks like cares about bounties being on other creatures. Like this one is like, okay, here's a payoff for my other things having put bounty counters on stuff, but it doesn't seem like enough to put a deck together. There's also this gaining control of my opponent's creatures in black and white, which is novel, but not. Also, doesn't seem like there's much of a payoff. We're not like we don't have a lot of ways to sacrifice them that I've seen. We don't have payoffs for controlling our opponent's creatures. And then we still have the Commander Drana and Lenvala, which feels like there's something, but not. It's not coming together for me. I don't know if you found anything else in this deck that
I don't know why I just realized this now. I think I now know why this is the Commander, which I just realized. We want to do our opponent's stuff. Lenvala, they gain the abilities. Right? They has all actually could choose your opponent control. Yes. So it steals the abilities. I think that's just like the idea here. Is like we want to do what our opponents are doing. So now Lenvala lets us do it. And I just kind of missed that, but yeah.
Okay.
I think if you try and approach this deck super logically, it's not there. I think this deck is truly this seems from what I am seeing that this is a deck of love for Magic and the love of specific cards, especially from the past. Mm-hmm. If I had to make an educated guess, I do not know for sure that Tumnus has been playing Magic for 20 plus years. I would be shocked if they had not been playing for 20 plus years. And this deck really looks like I love XYZ, so I play XYZ.
Yeah. I've taken this very weird theme of doing my opponent's stuff in colors that are not terribly good at doing those things, and found the cards that make it work.
Funnily, black is good at it, but white sucks at it. White is like one of the steel colors. So there is a lot of stuff like
black is one of the steel colors. Yeah.
Like you could like if you want another really good card, you can play like Praetor's Grasp. It's another strong card to go take the best card out of your opponent's deck for later. What a fair card, by the way. I know it's like
to do it for 3 mana.
To do it for
and to not help you cast it in any way.
Yes, exactly. It's like such a fair card. Your mana base, 38 lands, great. Play more MDFCs. I am a firm believer in 2-color decks, just like I mentioned for 1-color decks earlier. You just can play 6 MDFCs.
Yeah.
They're free. If you don't know, modal dual face cards, and specifically we're talking about the lands, the cards that are spells on one side. Put one up. There's one in the deck already, so scroll up. So I just want to, for those who don't know, because there might be a person or two in chat that, Wits Enchanter. On one side, this is a spell. On the other side, it is a land that, a bolt land. You bolt yourself to make it come in untapped. These cards are incredible, and they are free rolls in your deck. Now, the only reason I would not play them in a deck is if I don't want to be too samey. And I understand that. It's like if you're like, yeah, I play these in every deck. Perfectly reasonable not to play them. If you just want to build like a little bit more efficient, put them in. I love it.
Yeah. There was a thing. Okay.
What is Shay Cormac? Let's look at that. Now, I've got a suggestion from chat, so I want to see what this is.
Permanents your opponents control lose all of their protection abilities. Whenever a creature an opponent controls becomes the target of a spell or ability, put a bounty counter. There's a bounty counter one. And when a creature with a bounty counter dies, you put 2 counters. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, if the bounty counter theme is not essential, but like is what is wanted for this deck, yeah, you should just put Shay in this deck.
Yes, it's one of the. It looks like one of the few payoffs for it that they haven't found for this.
I specifically tried not to be super nitpicky about this deck because the way I looked at it was this is a cool deck that does unique things that isn't very powerful. It's sitting in the 2 somewhere, but I honestly like this build a lot. I will say almost every deck that's come in, I've really liked the unique takes and builds that people have been doing.
Yeah. I will say of everything that we've seen so far today, and this will be the last deck list that we see. We do have 2 more things to do. The thing that has me intrigued the most the entire time is now this weird interaction of Drana and Lunvala and creatures creatures that can give themselves away to opponents, which is the thing that I will immediately be looking into to see if I can find something super weird to do with. Like that I think is fascinating.
Well, I already know what Veggie's short for tomorrow is.
I know it'll still be more Final Fantasy stuff.
That's fair. Yeah. How dare you stay relevant and with the times like you're some sort of content creator?
Okay, so what was our goal overall?
Or
was it just, hey, let's check this deck out?
General feedback, yeah.
Cool.
I did want to add, this deck is a little short on draw. I just wanted to mention that because I do like whenever I look at any deck to look at the. I literally write veggies on my thing, spelled just like veggie, obviously. And the only thing this thing was lacking in the vegetable department, which is removal, card draw, ramp, is a bit of draw. I would add Aerial Extortionist, Archivist of Ogma, and Mangara the Diplomat for the little. They did this all. They're a little Staxy, and they feel like they fit the Staxy side of the commander without being oppressive dumb cards.
Okay.
Yeah, that was my thought and why I added them. But yeah, you just need a little bit more card draw. This deck will peter out.
Cool. All right, so we have 2 things left to do. This is not, I don't think, going to be a regular thing unless you all really, really love it. We just had a little miscommunication on what these deck techs were. So Elliot has requested 2 deck starters, is what I'm going to call them. We were given 2 kind of prompts to get some ideas flowing. So the first one is to make a Willy Wonka themed deck. Specifically, I believe the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is I think the name of the first one. I don't remember which one is Willy Wonka, which one's Charlie. Anyway, it's the Gene Wilder one.
The original book is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Right, but I think the movie is
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Yes.
And they had some suggestions for it. So what we're gonna do is start off with Bernard as our commander. This was suggested by them, and I think this makes a ton of sense because he's like food and candy kind of centered guy, works with food tokens, and is the like kind of creepy. Oh, I've turned my creatures, or I've turned the children into candy. Because when a non-token creature you control dies, you exile it and bring back a food golem version of it.
Yes, I could not agree with you more.
Yes.
This is the absolute perfect commander. But I also have to just point out something because it's funny to me. Bernard Ginger Sculptor as a name could mean 2 things. It could mean he's what he is, which is making things, or it could mean he's a red-haired sculptor. Yeah. So I like the idea of an alternate art where he's just a regular sculptor who happens to have red hair and freckles.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So some of the things I thought of right away, I was like, okay, we definitely want to lean into a food theme. So anything, especially with candy, and surprisingly, there are not a lot of cards that feature candy in these colors. Even with the entire Wildsville Drain thing, the only ones that I could find were
Night of Sweet's Revenge.
Yes.
I have one in my head.
Yeah, Night of Sweet's Revenge definitely needs to be in here because it's both candy stuff and will synergize with the deck. Candy Trail.
That was the one I immediately thought
of. Which will looks exactly, I mean, like a creepier version of like the Candy Room.
Yep.
Which I think is works great. Welcome to Sweet Tooth. I think this is for sure like the opening sequence of the the kids being invited into the factory.
Yep.
And it even starts with, hey, here's you get a little human child.
Yeah.
And they get some food, and then they get powered up by the
Is
food.
that a cake on the card?
It is a cake.
So
it's a creepy cake.
So because this is the beginning scene, the cake walks out, pretends like it falls, does a little roll,
right,
and then pops right back up.
Yeah, yes. And then this one, Curious Pear and Treats to Share, I thought was kind of a nice representation of like Charlie and Grandpa Joe.
I also, yes, I agree with you, but also I love the idea of this. Oh, I lost it. I had something. There was a thought, and it is gone.
Mm-hmm. All right, Rob, you're already ahead of me. So this was the only other one that I was like, for sure we put it in here. It was not candy themed, but yes, Gilded Goose has to be here. It, the goose with a golden egg, and it's food based. Like, yes, we absolutely put this card in the deck. Okay, so the direction that I went with this was, let's take some of the iconic characters and find some good representations of them in card form. So it's like, we certainly need all of the kids that went in. We need Charlie, we need Grandpa Joe, we need some Oompa Loompas. So please, if you in chat have some ideas for these, let me know, because I have some suggestions, but I'm not confident that all of them are great. So
what are we starting with?
Let's start. We definitely need Charlie, right?
Yeah, you need Charlie.
We need Charlie. This was one that I was not super confident on. To me, Charlie gives big Samwise Gamgee vibes. It's just like, oh, generally nice, like well-meaning person.
Kellen?
That,
we got a suggestion for Kellen to be Charlie?
Magic's goodest boy. I don't know if Kellen is Magic's goodest boy.
Yeah, a dog is definitely Magic's goodest boy.
Right.
That wording just lends itself to a dog.
So I have two options for this, and maybe we just include both. There is just Samwise Gamgee. This card is very good. Non-token creature enters, but there's a little bit in my brain that's like, first I'm gonna switch it to this one because it's art works better, but because it's a group of kids. It's like some weird non-bow because you are making token creatures, but like the card's still generically good. Also, why is he sacrificing foods? There's also Sam Loyal Attendant, which I think this may be a better choice. I think this looks maybe a little bit more like Charlie. You can see like the hair some more here, and then this is like accentuating food as opposed to sacrificing it.
So we can keep both.
Yeah.
And they can be Charlie. This is from the original Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and this is the scary remake with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah,
right.
that movie is weird. And not in a good way.
Yeah. Okay, so yes, the Stranger Things is a good suggestion. I also thought of this. Let's look at Dustin Gadget Genius. I can see this. It didn't do it for me as much though, as like Sam Loyal Attendant. But also we can just have this in the deck because it does work. It's mana that you can use for the foods.
Yeah, I mean this totally works in the deck. It like you said, works for the food, and we can just say it's a character if we need to lie to ourselves.
Yeah. But hey, you know what? We'll segue there. The one that did work for me is Mike, because there is one of the kids that goes into the factory is Mike TV, and the character kind of looks similar. And it's identical names. And then the problem though is it also non-bows, because Bernard wants to exile creatures that have died, and then you only get the copy if you did succeed in exiling a card. This is bringing things back that are in the graveyard. But I felt like it looked right and is the same name.
I have to say that Mike Dungeon Master's art makes it seem like that kid is so ugly. Like, I don't know the actor's name, but like, they're a normal looking human.
Yes.
That art does.
Rob, can you please relax, because you're making my actual suggestions here. Like okay, so Flaxen Intruder as Veruca. Joe, can you confirm that that's what I've written here?
No, it doesn't say that. It looks like he's taking it directly from you, Rob.
Yes, this was my only suggestion for Veruca Salt, because the art is exactly right.
that grump.
Right.
That grump on that face.
Like, blonde child with sour face. Like, that is correct. That's our Veruca Salt card.
You know what? And unearned confidence, because this character is a 1/2 and thinks it is some sort of awesome fighter.
Right.
Like, it's like, got this bloody sword and a bear trap. It's like, you're a 1/2. You lose to a bear. The bear wins. But she thinks like, nah, I got the bears. I win.
There's even like some light synergy here, because she sacrifices herself, which, like, flavorful, great, and also then comes back as a thing with Bernard. Cool. I like this one. I really like.
Any Grandpa Joe?
Yes.
What do you got?
My Grandpa Joe was the Fourth Doctor.
Yeah. My great grandpa's name was actually Joe. So I did have a Grandpa Joe.
I could definitely see Gandalf. I don't know if there's a Gandalf that synergizes with the deck. I chose the Fourth Doctor because, like, old man, like, that very, very definitely has, to me, Grandpa Joe vibes. Apparently, Randy in the chat disagrees.
I have to say I do disagree too. I'm not getting the vibe.
To me, this was Grandpa Joe vibes and synergizes with the deck. This is giving us some card advantage and makes foods. But I'm very open to, if somebody has a better idea for it. Gandalf the White, doubling artifact synergy. Does that work?
Let's take a look. And Gandalf the Great.
I guess double triggers because it cares about historic. Is that right?
Yes.
Or legendary or artifacts, leaving or entering battlefield doubles triggers. I'm very on board with that.
But hold on. The leaving isn't what triggers the artifact, so it doesn't double it, right?
It doesn't double Bernard, but it's like a lot of the cards.
Does it double food? No.
No, it's a lot of the things. Oh no! This does work. A creature you control dies. That is a thing leaving the battlefield, causing a triggered ability.
Oh yes,
that totally works.
So it does work, yeah.
And also is just going to synergize with a lot of other cards that you would put in a deck like this, because you want to play a lot of cards with ETBs and LTBs. So that
LGBTQs.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever you can get in there. Any combination of letters.
Yeah.
I've never heard LTB until today.
Yes.
So it just immediately is LGBT to me. Like, that sounds so similar.
Okay, so we've got that.
Oh, Blessed Spirits. I agree. I'm with Rob on this one. It has no synergy with the deck. But those children are dead.
Oh, yeah.
And if you don't think that the children in Charlie in the Chocolate Factory died, you're wrong. They're dead.
They're pretty
They're
dead.
very dead.
Let's talk about more dead children. Okay. So we have the rest of the children to go through. I thought that this one was pretty good for Augustus Gloop. This is fat small person that cares specifically about eating a lot of food and gets better the more that it eats.
Yeah, I forgot about foot fetish guy. This guy is all foot.
But yeah, I was like, okay, great. This synergizes with the deck and seems really flavorfully correct for Augustus Gloop.
I mean, yes, this is. I don't know that you can get better than this one.
Yeah.
Like, this not only fits in card art, but also fits with devouring food, so it's perfect.
Yes. But this one I thought was the best match, like, mechanically and flavorfully. However, my favorite my favorite one for this, and I might have to.
Oh, please.
This is my Violet Beauregard card. And I'm gonna switch to the most correct printing, which is this one.
Okay, that works. I was like, so I haven't seen this printing. I was like, what is this? No, I don't get it. But no, yeah, I like this.
It's the blue child. Like that's.
Sam Leffy, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you.
Yeah, this made me really happy. This is my Violet card.
No, I like this a lot. Like I said, first thing, quips. If there is ever a card in Magic the Gathering that is just not that good at what it does, but I freaking love, this is it. I love Crib Swap.
Mm-hmm.
What the idea? I love that the baby looks nothing like the baby. So it's like the idea that they replace it and nobody noticed
that
is
works.
hysterical.
And like also this is a fine and playable card. It's like has the rate improved on this kind of effect since this card was printed? Sure, but I think I'm okay with a 3-mana exile a creature.
Yeah, it is slightly inefficient and not but that baby's scary as hell. Oh my god. I'm like trying to like I have not seen this art. I am like taking this in for the first time here.
Yes, it's terrifying.
It is terrifying. Like that is murder baby.
Okay. Who else do we have? I think we've covered all of the children now. I did have one alternative for Mike TV. Specifically this lab man, only because it was the only thing that I could find in the game that is clearly a person on TV. But it does not really do anything for this deck at all.
I have not seen that printing. That is something.
Okay. I think the only other like iconic Willy Wonka character that I was like, we certainly have to have this are the Oompa Loompas. And I went over some ways that you could do this, but I settled on making a functional deck. One of the angles you can go with Bernard is golems. Yeah. And that seems like exactly what works for this. So any of the cards that care about golems are both good for the deck and seem like, oh, here's a little guy. So we just like kind of go, yeah, great. Blade Splicer, that's an Oompa Loompa. Dark Splicer, making Oompa Loompas. Yeah, look,
go
Oompa Loompas.
Go up.
Oompa Loompa, what?
You just missed one. Go ahead. Yeah, Mana Rock, that is also an Oompa Loompa.
That is not what I'm talking about.
It's a golem.
It's in the deck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It better be. We're already stretching.
Actually, next is becoming a really cool card.
Yeah.
So that makes Oompa Loompas. Ooh,
a giant Oompa Loompa that splits into 3 Oompa Loompas.
Giant Oompa Loompa that splits into Oompa Loompas. Single Oompa Loompa that results in all of your Oompa Loompas getting removed from one removal spell.
But also, this is the one that summons the other Oompa Loompas. Mm-hmm. Perfect. That actually,
yeah. But yes, I'll now fill in the other spots. I'm just
no. Blade Splicer is not an Oompa Loompa. Blade Splicer calls upon.
That's right.
The Oompa Loompa.
Yes. Another Oompa Loompa. Big Oompa Loompa.
Big Oompa Loompa. It's another Oompa Loompa that breaks into 3 Oompa Loompas.
Right.
Which is, if you've watched the movie, you know that's a thing.
Right.
You know, the giant Oompa Loompa.
Apparently all of you have not watched.
The regular... Yeah. Oh my god, I'm laughing at nothing.
Okay, look, this actually starting to look like a real deck.
It is. We have built something. We've actually built something here.
Yes. Okay, so what else are we missing here? Like either iconic moments from the movie. I feel like it's gonna be hard to get any other characters. Maybe if there's like a good Slugworth character. I felt like was the main character I couldn't really think of something for. Oh yeah, the trauma tunnel.
What is the card?
Oh, I think there's actually I think there's actually like a trauma tunnel card. I don't know if it's in these colors. It was I think it's in a different color. I think there's a red or a black card from Duskmourn that is literally scary, like scary ride tunnel.
I like that suggestion. I like the Nuka-Cola
Ooh, yes.
machine.
Yes.
That is a really nice little include that fits with our theme here. $14. God.
Yeah, card's crazy.
Yeah, but
It has one printing.
yeah, I just never I never expect it. I like the card a lot, and it's cool.
Yeah, card's so broken. But yeah, the boat ride. What do we do for the boat ride? Underwater tunnel feels like not quite enough to me.
Type in the word. Just type in the word factory.
Factory. I mean, we can put Academy Manufacture and every time we can say factory. But you mean art factory or name factory?
Just name factory. Let's see if we can see if there's anything here that can be our factory.
I think you can make an argument for Urza's factory or Mishra's factory, even though they don't synergize with the deck.
Yeah, I would agree. I think you just put it in because it's like they're artifacts.
Yeah. What's the backside of this?
Also, little assembly workers, kind of Oompa Loompas.
Yeah. Oh, Poppet Factory, maybe? I mean, it's not making candy, it's making creatures, but it does synergize with the deck. If you have 3 more creature tokens and you turn it into this, but then they lose all abilities, so bad.
So bad, yeah. So yes, our Mishra's factory and our Urza's factory are a factory.
Okay.
What is a card that gives away something?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like for the synergy, simply for flavor, we need
donate.
Donate. Yes. What is the other harmless offering?
Is red, but
I was thinking, what is it's donate? Yes, donate's the original. Yeah, I think you just you need donate. You need the factory, and I think if you donate Urza's factory, you win the game. I don't care what any of your opponents say.
Can't you not do that?
Which,
target permanent. Yeah.
You can give it away. So yeah, just give it away.
Or wait, even also I think we have to do wrong turn, because it's a similar effect, but also is kind of like, hey, when they go in a room they're not supposed to go into.
Oh yeah, that's so perfect, and it works, and it does work with doing the thing.
Yeah, you can turn it.
You can turn this into a creature and then give it away, which is exactly what happens in the movie. Mm-hmm. The factory comes to life, is a giant monster, and then he's like, you can have it.
Mm-hmm. I do, yeah. Oh, I see. Bacon, the idea for an everlasting gobstopper. Definitely something with indestructible.
Yeah.
Can we think of?
You could just Oracle Indestructible here. For those who don't know what we're doing, Moxfield is actually linked to Scryfall, and which is a great site for looking up cards. It is amazing. You should use it, but it has syntax.
You can do your Scryfall searches here if your internet is working.
Yes, it is absolutely amazing. Howdy! Thank you for making a big giant cute thing that made me smile.
Not a good time. We're trying to pump you up, Scryfall. Okay, indestructible. Yeah, we need like a little thing.
We need to be an artifact. I think we could probably do T artifact.
All right, Colossus, Blazo Colossus. That's a perfect gobstopper.
Is there anything that could be worse than that?
Yeah, creepy doll.
Darksteel Ingot might be right. It does have the visual appearance up top of
it. I'm gonna add it anyway. Let's see if there's anything else that seems to fit.
Come on. Ooh, Stuffy Dog. I love that card. The One
Ring.
Yeah, so the One Ring is a representation of the Endless Gobstopper. Oh, wait,
that which was taken?
Oh.
Come on.
Okay, now we actually found it. I don't even know what this card does.
Yeah, you can turn things you can turn things indestructible as long as this stays on the board.
Yeah, I remember the Gobstopper specifically.
Right, they steal it.
When you steal it,
Or
it makes the kids become metal and indestructible.
yes, yes.
That's exactly what
Yeah,
happens.
golden ticket.
Oh yeah, wait, what would be? There is ticket cards, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think these work.
What about just type in ticket as name? I feel like there might be a few more ticket names. No, that was actually wrong. I was dead wrong. Sorry, my bad.
We do need to put golden egg in just in general. I forgot about that.
O-tag ticket? Try it. Give it a try. What does O-tag do?
Oracle tag. So it's just like generally if somebody has made a tag called ticket, they can put stuff under it. But
Oh, no one did.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, I don't know.
I think this is
to be honest.
Mhm.
I think that it probably fits as the golden egg. It is a food.
no, the golden egg is the golden egg.
No, it's dumb.
I think ingot is probably the best. It's indestructible. It's a little
Is
thinger.
there a feign illness? Grandpa Joe, yeah, I get to go to the factory. I've actually been able to walk for years.
Right? Actually, I want to see. Is there like art with like people in a bed? Like I want to see a bunch of people in a bed.
This one's really giving me the vibes.
Yeah.
Of Grandpa Joe.
Yeah.
I didn't realize. Now I've just learned something.
Mm-hmm.
Scroll up.
Well rested too.
Also very flavorful. Just scroll up. I didn't realize that this is a bed until right now.
Oh yeah.
I have seen that art a lot because I played that a decent amount, but I did not say that was a bed. I think we've done it for this deck.
Yes, I think this is a really good core. Exactly what we were trying to do here. For the Willy Wonka themed deck. Like this almost gets you there. There's only a few cards like slots left. You can either use those to make the deck functional, or just try and find everything else that you can for it. But like, yeah, that's 40 spells and 2 lands as a start for Bernard Willy Wonka. But now we get to do this again. Is this let's
New deck.
So this one, the what we're trying to do is make a saga creature themed deck. So these already existed on the backside of sagas from Kamigawa, and now Final Fantasy has brought us a bunch of saga creatures on the front side. So sorry, let me clarify. Kamigawa had saga front side, creature backside, and now Final Fantasy has brought us saga creatures straight up. They suggested a couple commanders for this, like Tom Bombadil, which makes a bunch of sense. Card is super busted for sagas. There's a new commander in Final Fantasy called Terra that is a saga on the backside. Card is also very good. However, their third suggestion made my brain light up. And that is a saga creature deck headed by Zinnia. And I think this is really interesting. So I have not even put a ton of thought. I just wanted to see what we could come up with here. So first easy is we do type creature and type saga.
Yeah.
And we can pretty much just
We
jam.
just go plus.
Right. Well. Okay. To be clear, I don't know. I'm not putting these in.
Well, yeah.
Because they don't work. Because Zinnia gives your creatures offspring, and that only works if you're casting the creature. So even stuff like some of the new cards from Final Fantasy, you only cast the front side. But you know what? And then you have to transform them. You have to exile them and return them to the battlefield, which does not work for tokens.
Yes, and also on top of that, Offspring doesn't get around legendary.
Right. I mean, but we could make that happen because we only have so many things we can do. But it does work for all of the summons. So we're absolutely putting every summon that we can into the deck. We're not even worried about what the summon does because there's only so many of these cards. But there's enough for it to be a theme. Okay. I think everything else here does not quite synergize with the Offspring, which is what is interesting to me. Okay, so we have that. But what else can we do with what else can we do with now copying creature sagas? I will start with the one big one that I thought of.
What was that?
This guy, Ian Chesterton, regular guy. Each saga you spell has each saga you spell has replicate, which works with Offspring because Offspring is an additional cost. So you pay for Offspring and then you replicate your spell as much as you can, which might not be a bunch, especially considering what our cheapest one is 3.
Mm-hmm.
But you get the Offspring trigger for every copy of it.
So you will pay an extra 3. So you'll pay 5 for this, pay an extra 3, and also get the Offspring. So you will get 4 total copies of like Summon of Ixon.
Right. This just makes me happy. That's just a weird sort of thing. I love it.
Ooh, I really like that suggestion. Populate.
That
is really smart to be doing with this deck.
Because now we have token copies of these sagas.
Yes, and every time you so what's really, really cool about Populate here is that we will be every Populate, like Nesting Dove should probably be next deck. Good. But every single time we're resetting back, a problem with sagas is sometimes they go to the graveyard never so you can recur them. But if we just keep making new ones, we don't have to do anything else because we just get a new one. And we know they're going away eventually, but we can just keep getting them.
And that's why Muster of the Departed is excellent here because it triggers, you get a Populate end step if a creature died.
Awesome. Perfect. I mean, like our things will just be dying on our upkeep. Or no, in our beginning of main phase. That's right.
Yeah. I mean, we probably just like jam a bunch of other Populate stuff in.
I mean, you just put in Song of the World, so you go in on this theme here.
Yeah.
Like this is
this is
Root Point Defense is fine.
Reasonable. Yeah. I'll Populate for 1.
If I was this is the kind of deck where it's silly enough that I would probably play Tristani's Judgment. I don't think it's good. I think it's terrible. But I would just put it in because I'm just like, I want to do my thing. Let me do my thing.
Also, look, Kate, that's repeatable Populate. Cool.
Oh, it's an actual playable card.
Yeah, that's a playable card.
Go back and put more Tristani's Adjustments in.
We should run everything. It's only so many cards.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Not Eyes in the Skies.
It's not Eyes in the Sky. That card is terrible.
Yeah, this is not great costed, but it's removal. And this. Oh, you can Offspring this.
Oh yeah, cool.
Does that work? So, I don't think it works for the token because the token will enter and be like, I was not cast, and you will not get your bird.
Bird enters the battlefield if you cast it.
Oh, you only get 1 bird. Who cares?
Wait, we Populate.
Yeah, you Populate.
That's what we care about.
But you won't. The token will not Populate because the token was not cast.
Boo boo.
Right.
Yeah, but can they prove that in a court of law? I don't think they
That's
can.
a good point.
So we're going to get that trigger.
There we go. We get that. Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. I like the 3 bind by. So anything that's copying our 3 bind that can copy tokens.
Those are the kinky ones. The 3 bind device.
I want to say there's other things that do that thing. That are copy a token. Can I just do? How many things are there that actually? 3 blind mice. What's your wording? Copy or create a token that's a copy. Okay. I actually think we might catch a...
That is the most... Looks like there's a few.
Yeah, okay.
Okay,
oh, yeah,
silent.
that
Yep.
card's so busted.
Yep.
This actually, Specimen Collector works well with Offspring. And enters, pay 1, make a token that's a copy of target token you control. It's not this. Great. Works with Offspring.
Yep, perfect. Resubscribing. Thank you, Knights, for the resubscription. We appreciate it.
Okay. What else? Did I only had a couple notes for this. Yeah, because I figured we would kind of just... Yeah, what else have we... I think I know what you're talking about, Sevens, but I don't think it works here because I think it's only artifact creatures. It's Oltec Matter Weaver, right? Where did it go? Yeah, Oltec Matter Weaver, token of target artifact token.
Yeah. I do. Yeah, we should put the... This is a...
World Waker, yeah, also only artifact tokens.
Ultimately, we need, like, Scholar of New Horizons. Things that take off the counters that are good synergy. Just good synergies with all these.
Oh,
sides.
yeah, synergies with... Okay. Yeah.
Just classic Saga synergies. What's the...
Well, okay, hold on. Because I think it'll be easy to fill with Saga synergies, but is there anything else we get off of the unique aspect of this deck, which is we are making Offspring copies of these Saga creatures? Because that's what I want to lean into first.
That's fair. That's fair.
I like Mimic Vat. Yeah. Another way to make token copies of our Saga creatures, and they just conveniently
Die for
us.
I like that a lot. Yeah, that's perfect. Even cooler about that, when we start populating, they won't just be 1/1s. They will be the actual power toughness.
Yes, and when we start populating, they don't die at the end step like the Mimic Vat one.
Yes, exactly. Very popular. They're very, very powerful comparatively to like other things we're doing.
Yes.
Because most of the things are going to be little 1/1s. They won't be those 1/1s. They'll be the big ones.
Yeah, I do like Myriad. I think that's a good idea because could like a Blade of Selves or something. Is there there's another thing that that now does it. I'm just gonna have to do this, but we don't want creatures with Myriad. We want things that give Myriad. This is the new one from Tarkir, the Commander decks. I guess we could just run Duke Alder Ravengard.
Yeah. I was just gonna say that.
What is this? Is it Iron Will Forger? At the beginning of combat on turn, if you control your commander, target non-legendary creature gets Myriad.
Perfect. Fits in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also, if you want to go big and silly, you can go Legion Loyalist.
Might as well.
Over
We're here
the
for
top.
big and silly.
I mean, this deck is embracing the theme. Yeah.
Right.
What else can we do with these?
Because we also want to cast them. That's important. So like some ways to
maybe we want to bounce them.
Bounce. I could see, yeah.
Because it works even perfectly. Because if we don't want to go to the graveyard in certain situations, we have this on the battlefield. It reaches its fourth thing. The ability's on the stack, and then find a way to bounce it back to our hand to replay it again.
Yeah.
Which is
okay. So then, yeah, easily repeatable
bounce. Well, there's the
my boomer commander brain goes to Crystal Shard.
Yes, I was also on Crystal Shard. Yes, I think Crystal Shard is probably still one of the best repeatable ways to bounce your own stuff.
There's also there's a cheaper one on a creature. It's Vidalcan something. I think it's like 2 mana.
Add Oracle Return.
Mastermind. Return target permanent you control to its owner's hand.
Yep, perfect.
And what did you say?
No, I didn't realize there were so few Vidalcans.
Oh, yeah.
I thought there would be a few more I was like, oh yeah, just Oracle the return part. But yes, bouncing them seems like a nice way to recast them in order to do our Zinnia nonsense again.
Yeah.
And we don't lose anything. The saga, like that extra synergy of the sagas, you will get that last ability no matter what. It'll be on the stack already, and then you just return it to your hand.
Yes. Okay, right. You spell reducers.
Ooh, you can play Runaway together. It's a one-time bounce, but you also get to bounce one of your opponent's things.
I mean, the defilers are kind of cute, but
It's also missing. This isn't all the cards here.
does not work. Oh, because this is only the universal effects. There we go. Okay. Is there anything here that is good for us?
Or Semblance Anvil. I think someone said that in chat.
Semblance Anvil. Okay.
Yeah, we exile an enchantment, and then over enchantments cost 2 less, making the offspring essentially free.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty good. It's pretty good.
Heliod?
Spells you cast.
Because it returns an enchantment, which we'll definitely have, and then if we flip it, reduce spells and cast them on our opponent's turns.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, literally. Being able to do like Saga on end step, and then untap second trigger, and it's the creature's ready to swing.
I mean, Inquisitive Glimmer.
Yep.
Is great because we can offspring it, get 2 of them, and now offsprings are free.
Yeah.
And if we happen to have any doors to unlock, we can start unlocking doors.
They are historic. I don't know if I want a reducer at 4.
Yeah, that's a pretty high cost. Especially to only reduce 1. Pay up to 2 less. Sure. Put it in. It's cool.
No.
Planar Gate.
We just said we don't want to.
I know, but I know. Yeah, but it does the 2. The 2 compared to the 1 is. But it's so cool. It's $64 too. Yeah! We did it.
Oh yeah, I guess Starfield Mystic.
Any creature that reduces by 1, we should put in the deck. Because it can be offspring.
Yeah.
I would also do Starnheim Courser.
Oh yes, artifact and enchantment. Yes.
Yeah. Anything that could be offspring is like where we want to be.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one. No, it's Horus.
Yeah.
That one does not work.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, this deck actually. So if legitimately, if you have a draw where it's just any one of them, where you hit 2 of these, or potentially, God forbid, 3, plus the Semblance Anvil, which you didn't even add.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
If you have a combination of these, your deck could just go wild. Like you could cast like 4 of these guys in a turn,
right?
Each double up because you can reduce the cost by so much if you go in. Yeah, whoever said cost reducers, absolutely perfect. Cloud Key, yes, Cloud Key should be in here.
Yeah. Okay. So, are there any other convenient ways to copy our spells?
To copy our spells? Is there anything that copies spells on the stack here that exists still? There's a few. So there's not a lot of cards, but there are a few cards. We need something that copies the spell on the stack.
Right.
There's like the newer cards are starting to do this because they make the tokens. Copy it.
Because I'm looking for like whenever you cast a blank, copy it, or like
Mm-hmm. Moxfield is taking longer than expected.
everybody's building this deck now.
They're all like, "Wow, that's so cool! I can't believe it was a cool idea." There's got to be something here.
Yeah.
Hold on, we're cooking.
That's kind of cute. Reenact the crime. Because your saga dies.
Yeah.
You exile it. You cast it. You recast your big old saga for 4, and then you
pay 2. I like that. Yeah, add it. Go up to
the
the
3
top.
blue is a little rough, but
if you add to this Oracle token, just the word token, it would narrow this down. But also, I think we need... Oh, Tomb of Horrors Adventure actually does it.
Cast your second spell.
It has to be the second one, but yeah, that does specifically allow you... That is one that allows you to do it. Seems like it's like the only one, weirdly. I think there's other stuff, though. I feel like there's other... There are definitely other cards that aren't on here.
How many of the sagas fly? For Donald.
Donald.
No D.
I know. Donald.
Well, I mean, that's Bahamut flies. 2 Good King Mog flies. 3.
That's more than I
4,
expected.
5. Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah, but it's cool.
What
What's Hourglass of the Lost?
I think it brings back everything of a certain thing and is a mana rock. Yeah, it brings back everything of same of a certain mana cost.
Get it out of here. To be fair, I think we just did this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is here.
We're 45 cards already.
Yeah, we have built the basis for the deck, and to be fair, it mostly needs vegetables now.
Yeah,
like
it just needs like some ramp and like removal.
It needs enchantresses.
Yeah,
it needs. This is just like the rest of this deck is boring. We built the fun part.
Yes.
The rest of this deck is ramp, removal, card draw.
Yeah, this is very silly. I like this.
I also like this a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
But we did it.
That's it. Well, thanks everybody. Those again, we're going to be doing this every week on Wednesdays. Probably not as much of this is going to be a combination of deck building and deck techs like this. But also let us know if you enjoyed this thing that we did at the end here. I don't think it's going to be a regular thing. It just kind of happened because of miscommunication. But if you all really like it, we'll do more of these.
I will say a really positive thing that did come from this specifically was chat interaction. Chat was a lot more chat interaction during these parts. So that is a positive thing. That's really cool that
you all know too much about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, to be fair, I had just going blind. I don't know much about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and didn't look at that deck beforehand. So I was really just flying by the seat of my pants.
So make sure, that you are keeping an eye out for all of the streams that will be on this channel. Whether you are fans of Decked Out or fans of, Nerd Girl, because this was originally her solo channel, you'll see a lot of her still, a lot of all of us. These weekly, if you'd like to support, please head to our Patreon. Follow all of our channels. We have 2 Moxfield accounts right now. We have the one that we've been using right now, Decked Out Team, which is where you'll see deck lists that are submitted and the deck lists that are created for our shorts. Where you'll see a lot of my face attached to those, and then also you see the link down below at the bottom of the screen for our Ko-fi, which is brand new. That we will be using for specific goals like the PC that we really need to create some of the new content that we want, and you'll be able to get your deck text there as well. That will be up, I believe, at the start of the next month. And it's just, you go in, you go, boom, I would like a deck tick, please. And then we do it. Easy as that.
And it'll be, we'll do it on stream live for you.
Mm-hmm.
And Jess, I am officially part of Team Decked Out now. As of basically now. It literally started like a week ago. So I am officially Team Decked Out. Yes.
Woo!
So you will see me around plenty.
Yes.
But thank you all for watching. Thank you all. Thank you for the bits. Thank you for the follows. Thank you for everything. And we appreciate all of you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.